Hey guys, good morning. May 3rd, May 3rd, May 3rd. This is canceltheshow.com, our little show before the show. We're trying to get in a little earlier and earlier each day, and who knows, maybe we'll do that. At one point in time, we did a 7 o'clock show, 7 to 10. Anyway, it is interesting. Good morning, guys. Lizzie, by the way, Lizzie Sparks, not in studio today, but manning several boards. We appreciate her. She's the best at what she does with the chat line. No doubt about that. We say good morning to everybody. Projo's here. I'm here. Hi, Jerry. Hi, Karen. You never know who's jumping in early. It's always good to see everybody coming on in. It is interesting, though, because when you do podcast, people love the live aspect of the show, the hours, Projo. But like the true podcast listeners, and he's like, man, the show needs to just be like 45 minutes because then I can listen to it and I get out. That's how listeners to podcast operate. They listen. I've heard this 3 different times, and all people, they're experts on podcasts, but they're listeners. They're not viewers or watchers, which is interesting. But then we do something different where we have this show, like maybe it's radio, where it's longer format, but then you're trying to cut up segments maybe and get them to a library. So it is interesting when you're trying to figure all that stuff out. Hi, Trisha. Good morning to you as well today. Anyway, you're always trying to figure something out, especially when you're new and the palette's blank. We can paint whatever picture we want. There's no right or wrong, except when we do the stories. We need to have the facts done. That's for sure. Hi, Paul. Good morning to you as well. Paul. We got 2 Pauls jumping in today. Good morning to everybody there. Anyway, it is a Wednesday. Happy hump day to everybody. By the way, coming up tomorrow is when we're going to do, we'll have our first segments on the marijuana industry. What's going on? What's happening? Green Light, one of their bud tenders, one of the funniest names for a job I think I've ever heard, will be on tomorrow. We'll get our bud tender in to talk to them. Good morning, Angie. Hope everything's going well with you. Trisha says, the movers get to listen to you all. I guess she's moving. That's right. Jerry says, if I'm out and about in the 91 Buick, I listen through my Bluetooth stereo. That's interesting as well. But we still try to get as much information as we possibly can. That's for sure, about what people want, what's going on, what's the best way. But then again, there's never going to be a way that's best for everybody with anything in life. Everybody likes it their way, what they're used to. Good morning, Kim. Good morning, Mary, Joanna. Hi, Heather. That's kind of what happens. So we're just kind of going each day. We're 2 hours. We jump in a little bit early to see what we can possibly find, what we can get moving. But once again, we listen to everybody's ideas. It doesn't mean we always get to them all, but we try as we jump on a little bit early today. Let's see what we got here. Just getting ready. Joe, do you sleep well?
I only had a couple hours worth of sleep last night. I had a lot of other work to do.
What the hell?
But when I listen to podcasts,
what the hell?
When I listen to podcasts while I'm working on my computer, I listen to it in the background. I don't watch them.
Yeah, I know. We have a new listener. Where he's Jerry says Vic on 55-inch looking sharp. That's cool. No, he's a good friend of mine. Very sharp guy. Fell in love with our show. Listens every day now. It's fantastic because there's still so many people that have no idea what we do just in the St. Louis area. I'm not kidding. The potential for growth is massive. I mean, like I said, we had, around 180,000 views and listens last month, and only half were in the St. Louis metropolitan area. That's it. Under half, as a matter of fact.
That's pretty wild.
Like 49%. We want to be big everywhere. Our stories are national. Tabitha walked in and looked like she had a scared look on her face, like she did something wrong, like normal.
No, I didn't. I thought you guys were just talking.
She's always up to something no good. She's always got that look on her face, the laser beam eyes. But anyway, yeah, we love it when you share the show, like, subscribe, send stars, donations, help. But it is interesting. He's like, yeah, he's really a good friend. He's like, I just didn't know how to find you. Because Americans go, oh, let's turn on radio. And then we know that radio can't even show you, they can't even really show you ratings. We're showing you who's listening, when they're listening, what town they're listening in. The algorithms and how this whole system is set up is so real. You are who you are. Just like the scoreboard never lies.
Everything's trackable.
It's trackable, which is so, I mean, that's why I'm just like, man, unless you have some like blowout show on AM, FM radio that is just massive, people should give us a shot. But anyway, Mary just shared. Yeah, thank you again for doing that. Anyway, it is interesting as we try to figure out this whole game. We're having fun. We continue to do our research and we just come in every day, continue to do what we can. All right. What's
just
up,
improve a little bit or a lot each day.
Yeah, we're trying. We're trying. Jerry says, I'm 3 hours due north from St. Louis. Oh, wow. Jay says terrestrial radio, normal radio is dying technology. Yeah, it may be. It may be. I don't know. I just know what we do in our format and how we can track certain situations and show advertisers and sponsors and partners. It makes sense. It just does. So anyway, let's get started with the show. We got another big show coming up. Let's do it. Hey guys, welcome back in. Cancel this. We're ready to rock and roll. It is May 3rd. Oh, that's right. We start the wonderful month of May as we continue to move forward with all your headlines. I'm Vic Faust with Tabitha Hassel. Eric Johnson en route. Lizzie Sparks taking care of all of the chat lines. Not one, not two, at least 3 platforms. She is a multitasker. Pro Joe in the house. Tabitha, you just gave me a nice little look. That was nice. That was a nice look. She gave me a pleasant.
Oh, do I? Is it not usually nice?
Does anybody know somebody? And none of my friends can say anything about me, but does anybody know somebody where it just always seems like there's some dramatic event happening in their life?
Only me.
And maybe this has happened to other people. But coming up on the show, we'll get into that with Tabitha. Newt Gingrich says, Republicans, look out. Michelle Obama. Look out for Michelle Obama. She's lurking.
It'll never happen. Michael is never going to run for president.
Yeah, we'll tell you about that. Vice president?
No.
Okay.
She doesn't need to be because her husband is calling the shots anyway.
Change of woman of color to an actual African-American vice president. So I don't know. Maybe.
Not going to happen.
Okay. We'll break down what they said from that standpoint. They
can run the show from the shadows.
I have no idea what the Human Freedom Index is.
Oh, we're going to find out.
Tabitha's going to break that down in her tab take. I look forward to that. AI rearing its ugly head. I can't wait for that. Plus the Screenwriters Guild. They're on strike, so it's affecting shows. I can promise you this. Any Screenwriters Guild strike will never affect canceltheshow.com.
That's right.
We will never do that.
We do our
We
own
don't
writing.
use them. We do everything. We created ourselves. Also, when we get into that, is there a conspiracy theory behind the guild? Is late night top show TV host, are they connected to something nefarious? There have been rumors about this going on for quite some time behind the scenes. Let's just say linked maybe with Epstein in some situations. We saw what happened kind of with Ellen. She just kind of disappeared for a while, didn't she?
She did.
After being linked. Well, allegedly, she wasn't the only talk show host. We'll talk about that as well. So we got a lot to get to. Plus the news of the day, the headlines. Thank God they found the evil, horrible man in a manhunt after the Texas mass shooting from earlier this weekend. That ended. They found the guy in Texas. He did not go to Mexico.
I'm shocked.
We were all wrong. We thought he was in Texas.
In Mexico?
Yeah, they got him down to Cleveland, Texas. Francisco. I don't even like to say their names. Anyway,
don't give them credit.
Yeah, 100%. So anyway, take a look at our advertisers, our partners right now. We'll come back, start this show.
And now it's here, the unveiling of the latest Carroll House lifestyle collections. I'm Brooke with my sister Amy, inviting you to see 3 football fields of the latest styles.
Our new lifestyle collections are premium quality furniture made exclusively for us and available only at Carroll House.
The attention to detail is unmatched, and so is the value, nearly half the price of a typical gallery store.
Plus, get free financing, delivery, and in-home design. Carroll House, because you like nice things.
Kathy Helbig-Strick, owner of Experienced Real Estate Partners with eXp, has been one of St. Louis, Missouri's highest selling groups for 26 years running. In that time, Kathy and her team have successfully assisted an incredible 4,000 families. So if you're thinking about buying, building, or selling, be sure to put Kathy's group and their experience to work for you, and you can expect to be moved. Just give her a call at 314-276-SOLD. That's 314-276-7653, or find her online at experience-re.com. Winty's in the Chesterfield Valley, if you don't know, is a family-owned business that has been around since 1994, serving some of the best chicken wings in town, no joke. Also known for their fresh burgers, pizza, and incredible smoked meat. Top-notch happy hour specials are included, plus live music every Friday and Saturday. Oh yeah, you can also enjoy their spacious heated covered patio. It's Winty's in the Chesterfield Valley, 18,000 Chesterfield Airport Road.
As all of you may know, the home of the Cancel This studio is located at the all-inclusive private jet hangar Strategic Air Services. Founded in Chesterfield, Missouri, they take pride in offering a meticulous approach to private aviation through services that fully manage your trip from takeoff to landing. Strategic Air Services is more than just storage for your aircraft. They offer state-of-the-art amenities to its members and guests. When you are not traveling, you have the luxury of enjoying their world-class gym, conference rooms, lounges, and so much more. Strategic Air Services offers an unparalleled luxury experience for all things private aviation. If you're looking for a new place to call home for your aircraft, give them a call today at 636-400-7601. Again, that's 636-400-7601, or visit their website at strategicairservices.net.
And we say welcome back in. By the way, Complete Auto Body Care and Repair. 6 facilities throughout the St. Louis metropolitan area. And if you have an auto body facility around the country, do what they do. They've got climate-controlled conditions in all 6 of their places. If you're a technician or know somebody that's a technician, you're not going to get paid any better or have a better work environment than Complete Auto Body Care. They do everything at Complete Auto Body and Repair, though. Windows, tires, cars. Lizzie's daughter went there to have business, and we had 2 other people tell us they loved their experience there. You've got that. Plus, please check out Renewal by Anderson. They partnered with the show. It is the time of year. It's free to get a quote. You have no commitments to get a quote. The best part about it is if you do find something, you're helping out canceltheshow.com. If you know somebody, at least get a quote. I haven't heard anybody who's been disappointed with Renewal. Their product is top-notch. And that's why they've jumped with the show, and we're with them as well today. All right, we appreciate everybody jumping in today. Tabitha, I was curious.
Yes.
Well, first of all, a couple of headlines. They found the guy in Texas who we talked about. Kim Gardner, the circuit attorney in St. Louis, the attorney general trying to remove her from office. Guess what? That trial is going on. She was trying to get it released. Oh, we want another judge. Oh, we don't like the. Oh, okay. Kim, done. So that trial is moving on. More and more people quit her office, say that basically calling her a racist, saying that she's accusing other people that they can't do their job, judges, police, her own staff, blah, blah, blah. Anyway, that is moving on as she continues. I mean, she's got a couple.
Have you seen her statement?
What's her latest?
She made a statement.
She's lost me 100% because instead of looking in the mirror, she's blaming everybody else. And it's sad. It's sick. The fact, I don't know which's worse, that there were people who voted for her because of the color of her skin matched theirs, or if it was a situation where it's worse that she's just who she is right now.
I agree. And she obviously doesn't care. She made a statement yesterday, I believe it was, where she said she doesn't care if everyone leaves the office. She doesn't care. Doesn't bother her any.
It's the worst thing you can possibly say.
Good luck to them, she says.
No, it's a horrible statement on the residents of St. Louis who actually went out and voted for her. But it's worse for the residents who didn't vote. But anyway, that situation's continuing to move on. And we just wanted to get that done. Also, I don't know what the hell this situation is, this topic that you want to get into today.
About the Freedom Index?
Yeah, forgive me. I didn't even go look it up because I wanted to be educated today because I've never heard the term the Freedom Index. And I don't care if people think I've lost my mind, but I don't know what the Freedom Index is. So before we start, Pro Joe, have you ever heard of the Freedom Index?
I have not. This is the first I've
Okay.
heard.
That's why I specifically didn't go look for this. And I'm sure we have listeners who are very familiar. Now I can think about it and try to think rationally, okay, what does it really mean? And then maybe come to it. But I just wanted to make sure that I knew what you were talking about.
Oh, yes. Well, it's by the Cato Institute. It's called the Human Freedom Index. And they publish the Human Freedom Index every single year. And I tracked it from 2016 up to the current year, which is 2022. And what the Human Freedom Index is they talk about the different things that will give you your freedom in a country. And then they rate each country by your freedom as a human living in that country. So here are the things that they rate countries by.
Okay.
Rule of law, security and safety, movement, religion, association, assembly and civil society, expression and information, relationships, size of the government, legal system and property rights, sound money, freedom to trade internationally, and regulations. Where would you think the United States would be on this list?
Oh my God. How many countries did they look at?
Every country, 165 countries. Every single country rated from the most free country to the least free country, the country with the most restrictions. And we talk so much on this show, like, where do we go when we lose our freedoms here? When we've lost everything here, where do we go? And Eric just brought it up again yesterday. He's like, well, tell me, where do I go? And guess what he said? Switzerland, didn't he?
Yeah, he's like, well, I've got some Scandinavian blood in me. Maybe I head back to Switzerland.
Guess what country is number one?
Switzerland. Yeah.
Switzerland. They score a nearly perfect score, personal freedom, 9.35. Economic, and this is out a scale of 1 to 10, with 10 being the most free. Personal freedom, 9.35. Economic freedom, 8.37. Human freedom, 8.94. Their freedom score change is I've actually gone down 0.23% since last year. An interesting note would be that when you track the United States on the Freedom Index score, from 2016 through now, we've gone down several positions.
Okay.
We have moved down. We're not even in the top 10.
Yeah. Home of the free, land of the brave.
And that's why I always say freedom is
home of the free, land of the brave.
Yeah, freedom is an illusion. There's no question about it. We here in the United States, guess where we are at?
Well, only our listeners and viewers who actually watch the show, maybe not the listeners for this podcast, can't see it, but they've already said it. We're number 30.
No, well, actually, no, we're number 23.
Okay.
We are number 23 in the 2022.
That's so sad.
2022. Number 23. Yeah. And I'll tell you who is in the top.
We've got multiple people saying it's 30.
Well, if it's 30, it's not 30 on the Human Freedom Index, which I am looking at right now on
whatever.
the Cato Institute.
It's over 20, and that's an issue.
It is. And we have...
we have rated individual scores?
We do. So for us on the score sheet, we are, let's see here, 8.42 for personal freedom.
But 8.42 on a scale of what?
10. 7.97 for economic freedom. 8.23 for human freedom. We have gone down 0.52% since 2020. And
that's pandemic related.
And the top 10, Switzerland, New Zealand, Estonia, Denmark, Ireland, Sweden, Iceland, Finland, Netherlands, and we'll go down to Luxembourg.
No, the
top 10.
The Viking territories. What is the lowest ranking for the United States of America? I'm curious about that.
As far as what is the worst country on the list?
No. What does America score the lowest in regards to the individual criteria that they surveyed?
Oh, let me go back to the United States.
Because the fact that we're not a 9 or a 10 on personal freedom when it comes to.
We have gone down, by the way, we've moved down 7 spaces, 7 spaces in the freedom index from where we once were. 7 spaces.
What do you mean from where we once were? Like a year or?
It says here we've moved down 7 spaces since 2019.
Okay. Does it break down
just the
individual categories?
Just the figures that I already read to you.
Yeah. But what is our lowest?
Let's see here. Let me go back to it.
I need to know the lowest.
The lowest ranking score we have would be in economic freedom, and that would be a 7.97 out of 10.
Okay. So we scored in the 7.9. What exactly is economic freedom? That would have to be broken down for me.
Yeah. And I didn't get into all of that. I'm assuming economic freedom means the sound of your money.
How you spend your money, how you save your money, where you put your money.
Exactly. Do you have the freedom to save? Do you have sound money? I think it goes into the whole sound money concept that they're talking about.
What exactly is sound money?
Well,
because then you get into, it's not freedom, it's how strong is your dollar.
Well, it is. It's about your economy. I mean, there's no question that it's about your economy. How sound is your dollar? How sound is your economy? And if they were to redo this today, we'd probably be in a much worse position.
Yeah, from the chat line, Robert says Ireland's a mess. And some of those countries that are in the top 10 are a mess. They really, really are.
And
the Cato Institute is, do we know where the Cato Institute is based?
I know very little about the Cato Institute. I'm sure Robert probably does.
I'd like to know more about the Cato Institute, where they're based. Are they a liberal leaning, Democrat, Republican leaning? That's the one thing I've known with polls, surveys, you name it. The number one thing you should always do is anytime you see a poll, before you look at it, who put it on, who paid for it, and then know something about those companies, or what is their desired goal in doing the survey.
I would say that the survey is pretty accurate.
Yeah, I've
really
never heard anything about the Cato Institute.
I don't know anything about the Cato Institute. I've heard of them, but and it's not really a poll. I don't know how they go back and derive their numbers, but I will tell you what, I think they are correct. And if you look down further to, let's say, the last 5, I think that's pretty accurate as well. Number 165 coming in at the lowest would be Syria, the Syrian Arab Republic. And then we have Yemen, Venezuela, Iran, Egypt, Sudan, Saudi Arabia, Somalia,
Yeah. No, that makes
Iraq.
sense.
Those are definitely countries who have lost their freedoms. There's no question about it. I would think that we were far down below 23. So I think that's a pretty good score for us.
Yeah. No, I mean, I know it's easy to, no, that's sad. I mean, that's terrible.
Well, it's sad that we continue to climb down the list. And if the Cato Institute is as liberal as what people on our comment line are saying, then where are we really on the list? I mean, really, or should we really be number 50 and they're just giving us some extra credit?
When you like the idea, what concerns you the most? I mean, you like the idea of doing this story. You wanted to focus on it for your tab take.
Because the reason why is because we talk so much on this show. Where are countries at? Where do we have our freedom? If we don't have it here, where do we have it? And yesterday, I think we all agreed, Switzerland, some of the Scandinavian countries, they absolutely do have more freedom than we do here. Think about some of these countries, where you have the right to carry a gun anywhere you want. As a matter of fact, every household has a weapon. Mm-hmm. Every household has a weapon. You see kids, and it's not because they're having shootings or because they have a high crime index. It's because it is your freedom and your right to carry.
What country did you say every person has a gun?
I believe is it Sweden or Switzerland?
Well,
you guys know?
Eric allegedly told us that kids carry guns to school.
They do. They do.
And I was like, what? I'd never heard that before. But their culture...
You don't have to, but
their culture has been educated to the point where they know, okay, this is how we use it. This is what
I'm pretty sure that's Switzerland. But you can see photos. It's kind of funny if you see the photos. You'll see all the kids riding their bikes to school with like an AR-15 strapped to their back. But they use it responsibly. We don't hear about school shootings in Switzerland, do we?
I bet there's no school shootings over there.
Now, and Rob, no, here's that situation. Yeah, exactly.
It's mandatory and given by the government.
Yeah, mandatory given by the government in Switzerland to have a weapon.
Every household is given a weapon, from what I understand, for every individual
the Facebook
in the
line.
home.
Drew says that's a lie. I don't think so.
It's not a lie.
It's not a lie. Do some research and check back in.
Kevin just looked it up, and he says it's Iceland.
Oh,
Iceland
Yeah.
or
Thank
Switzerland. Which country? Iceland has. So there
But
is
I think there's more. There must be more than one.
So
Because I
wait a
know in Switzerland
So
they
there's
carry
a gun.
weapons.
So there's a country that you have kids. So there is one country.
It says they've had no murders since.
Yeah, that's it.
2007.
This is. It works.
Isn't that
it works.
crazy?
That's what we're saying. It works.
More guns, not less guns. More guns, not less guns.
We've already learned in life regulation is not a good thing. It's not good in business for the most part. It's not good. I'll give you your other thing. Drew, I just saw the comment line because he says, told you. Okay, you were right about the country, but you weren't right that it doesn't exist.
And I'm pretty, and Iceland is not the only country, because I know there's a Scandinavian country, whether it's Sweden or it's one of Sweden or Switzerland. I don't know which.
It's Switzerland.
Is it Switzerland?
Yeah.
Because I know that one of those countries do, because you see all the little blonde girls with their little ponytails riding to school with their guns on their back.
Regulation, as I was saying, is one of the worst things that can happen, because with regulation and excess regulation, it eliminates freedom. And when you don't have the freedom, you have these situations and the score that comes by. And by the way, the Cato Institute out of Washington, D.C. So I'm surprised. I figure maybe we should be way down the list, and they put us up to 30.
Exactly.
We might be 100 or 150. But the Cato Institute, based right there in Washington, D.C.
Because I was looking at the reason why I looked this up, and the reason why this came to my attention is we talk so often about China. Eric was talking about China yesterday. We talk about China all the time, and how a lot of times if China has a policy, it's not long after China institutes the policy that we start following the policy. We start carrying down that guideline. They had COVID restrictions. Well, then the next thing you know, we have COVID restrictions.
Todd, the blonde girls with guns could be Iceland, is what Tabitha was talking about.
It could be, but it is definitely Switzerland that I'm thinking of.
Riding their bikes to school or walking to school, because once again, their countries do it the right way. It's a family model. It is taught from the get-go, just like alcohol in Europe. It's not uncommon to have kids drinking some alcohol from an early age because they're taught responsibility with it.
They should add an AR-15 to the Swiss Miss package.
Oh my gosh. Oh my God.
That's funny.
What are we talking about? The Sound of Music here?
Yeah, exactly.
We're talking about how other countries have more freedom than we do here in the United States.
Oh, no.
It was her tab take from the Human Index.
And what you just said, though, was so spot on. I honestly believe we are so much further down the list than number 23. So much further down the list. I really do.
Why do you scare me already?
It's not meant to scare you.
I'm scared. I've been to, that you go to Switzerland, you don't, it's a feeling more than anything else. You know what I mean?
But it's Iceland that has the guns.
And Switzerland.
We're for sure in Switzerland.
I know for sure Switzerland does, yes.
I've lived in many communities in this country where every single person in my subdivision had just a cache of weapons that I never saw, never knew about them. It was just where you would be in the backyard with a beer, a Bud Light at the time, watching a football game, and you go, man, I had this little Glock, and you go, oh, you got a Glock? I got a closet full of stuff. But they don't come out with the stuff. It's there to protect their families.
Yeah, and this all came from the human.
It's about the culture. It's about when you go to places like Switzerland and Iceland and the UK. I don't know what their gun laws are.
No, the UK they don't have guns.
They don't have guns. Okay.
No, they have knives.
Right. It's not even about that. So you can make the case for the UK not having a lot of crime. You can make Switzerland not having a lot of crime.
Eric,
it seems like the United States is a crime-ridden.
Well, of course we are. We're like the Wild West. Switzerland has not had a mass shooting in 21 years. 21 years.
Okay. It's not their thing.
Well, since this article was written actually a little bit longer.
It's
not
cultural.
Since 2001.
I think it's this weird cultural thing, man. It's like, it's not even about crime. It's about, the thing about St. Louis is 200 times out of 200 times, you might be able to go there and not get your car busted into or get assaulted or anything. It's the fear of the knowledge that it could happen at any moment. That's what the biggest problem with St. Louis is. It's not knowing where the crime is. It's not knowing when you're going to get shot at by these weapons that you're talking about here. Most places don't have that.
In Switzerland, they every year they held a shooting contest for kids aged 13 to 17.
Yeah.
And they talk and they teach classes in your actual classroom, your school classroom, about gun safety.
Where was the country that had the skiing and shooting? Which it's in the Olympics, I know that, but I I can't remember the name of do you know the name of the event? It's like you ski around these
No, it's alpine skiing.
Alpine skiing, and you ski around with the rifle and you shoot things, and it's like the weapon is a sport.
It's a Nordic event.
Right. It's a
And
Nordic
they should
event.
ban it because it's only the Scandinavian countries that do well.
So what? We're the only ones that do
I
well
love
at
it.
American football, you know?
Yeah,
Eric-
and that's not a Olympic sport.
No, it should be. Though.
It's only an American
It should
sport.
be. Rugby should be an American sport too. So
It says
The
here
biathlon.
that having in Switzerland, having armed citizenry
Hmm.
has helped the Swiss remain neutral
Yeah.
for more than 200 years. Because if their government does something, has foreign policies they don't like, guess what?
Hell
They're all
yeah.
armed.
That's right.
They are all armed. And that is the reason why we have our Constitution, why we have our Second Amendment rights. And they call it armed neutrality. And that's why Switzerland stays out of all this ridiculousness.
And that's where it's where this government is really finding itself in a quagmire. Is this gosh darn Second Amendment here in the United States. And I think you see the frustration come out when Biden says, you know what, if you want to keep your guns, that's stupid. We got F-15 Eagles. We have F-16s, F-18s. We got we'll destroy you. I mean, just that weird language coming out of there. But you hear the frustration in their voices like, yes, we want to take your weapons away so we can control you more, right? But, to say it, you can't sound frustrated. But you can say weird stuff like Biden says, just spout out.
So
we have nuclear weapons.
So Iceland
and Switzerland, and I don't know about other countries, but look at this with Switzerland. The government gives all men between the ages of 18 and 34 a pistol or a rifle, and then they train them how to use them.
But you're talking about hardware.
So you were right, Tabitha.
Well, there are, and I believe there are more than 2 countries. I just don't have time to look them all up. I just looked up Iceland.
Mhm.
Kevin is absolutely spot on with Iceland.
Yeah.
And Switzerland is the same way. They don't give every person a weapon, but they give some women and all men a weapon, and they have school training on weapons. And guess what? They haven't been in a war since 1815. They've never been invaded.
Okay.
They do not have any type of terror attacks.
Yeah.
They don't have mass shootings, not one since 2001. So maybe,
you're
more guns, not less guns.
So you're making the case of it's not the weapons on this show. It's not the weapons. It's the culture. It's the
very much
mentality.
the culture and the mentality. That
Okay.
is correct. Very much the culture and the mentality, because they are raised using weapons. They are taught in a school classroom how to use a weapon.
Yeah.
Weapons are there every day. They're not using weapons to commit crime.
I guarantee you there's more weapons and nice weapons in Beverly Hills than there are here in St. Louis. They just don't use them there. They use them to protect themselves.
Well, there's
there.
a lot of crime
There
in
is-
Beverly Hills.
It's the difference between an offensive mind thought and a defensive mind thought. And here in St. Louis, it's very offensive. I hate, be honest with you, but it's crazy. Every morning I go through this nice 7:00 in the morning till 7:27 little thing on Fox 2, and it's basically the St. Louis Crime Report, brought to you by John Pertzborn. And it's basically just going over all the shootings and the nice video that they capture from 11:00 at night until 3:00 in the morning in St. Louis. It's offensive. It's offensive.
Well, we're doing everything wrong here. We're trying to ban guns, and we already know only the criminals are the ones who use guns illegally. But you know what else Switzerland has? They have a fantastic free mental health program.
Bingo.
For all of their
have you ever
should
been to
be
Switzerland?
surprised.
Have you guys ever been
No.
to Europe?
I have never
You've
been.
never been to Europe? When you talk to the people over there, it's very passive. It's very respectful. It's very slow. It's not like here. It's not like St. Louis, Missouri people. It's very they conform with their surroundings for sure. It's very beautiful.
People here are crazy. Let's just put it that way.
Hey, by the way, this is cancelthisshow.com. Speaking of crazy, Eric, I was asked last night, hey, by the way, did Eric ever go out and use any sort of the skills that Lily woman you had on last Friday? Did he go out to 370 and summon UFOs to talk to and take pictures with?
No, I'm not that coordinated with my
you
thoughts.
did. Somebody was listening to that show goes, Well, Eric was really into that. He was like, "Hey, can you ask the aliens this question
Eric's
for me?"
been over at Bush Wildlife.
No,
every
I'm the
night
kind of guy. I'm the kind of guy that goes on the
with his Bud
website.
Light.
I go on the website and I look for the Alton ghost tours. I don't know where to find the ghost. I just want someone to show me.
And speaking of which, coming up this Friday on our Paranormal Free for All Conspiracy Theory Friday, we went big time to help educate Tabitha on the existence of dinosaurs or not. We've got Pete Makovicki. He is the foremost leading paleontologist in the United States, or at least one of them, from the University of Minnesota. He is going to be joining us Friday morning. Also, one of the top preparers from the Field Museum in Chicago, so that they're going to address.
I've been there many times.
The assembling of the bones from this.
The fossils. The assembling of the fossils.
Tabitha says the fossils. The paleontologists
they're fossils.
Say the bones.
They're not bones. They're fossils.
Did you know that you can find
it's
millions of year old pieces of wood that are petrified?
Petrified wood, absolutely.
Well, what's the difference between a petrified wood and a petrified bone?
Wood disintegrates different than a human body does, or an animal.
It's organic.
Body.
It's all carbon.
It's very different. And
help me out over here, brothers.
And outside of that, we're also going to be talking about mud fossils.
Here we go.
Because if I encourage everyone before Friday to look up what a mud fossil is, because if we're going to believe, and I, for the record, I've never said dinosaurs.
That's what Tabitha
exist.
Calls her ex-boyfriend.
I said there is a lot of
mud fossils.
That's true. There is a lot of misinterpretation.
Yeah,
Joe, can we
look
turn
up
on
mud fossils?
Joe, can we turn on their mics, please, buddy?
Oh my God.
That's funny.
That's what I'm calling a lot of real estate agents right now.
Mud fossils.
Mud fossils.
Some inventory.
Well, when he said crazy, I thought he was referring to you guys because you guys are crazy busy.
I would never say that.
Crazy busy, I thought you were heading into.
Eric wants to know, now, what are the rates in Switzerland? Because Switzerland's got it all going on.
Here, but
what's the market?
Hold on.
like
Pull your mic up.
Switzerland?
Pull your guys' mic up because this is an important day. This is a damn important day.
Tabitha and I will check out.
It's early, Eric.
Is it early? No, I don't know, man. It feels late in the game to me. But so let's go right to it. Interest rates, are they coming down? Are they getting better? Are you going? And then I have another question, a follow up. So don't listen. It'll continue on.
You get one follow up.
Let's start with a little nugget.
Yes.
As far as rates are concerned,
yes,
depends on what side of the coin you're on. So the Fed's meeting today. They're predicted to raise the benchmark rate by another quarter.
Yes,
25 basis points. Right?
All right, that's great news.
You know
that
what?
sucks.
It could be. A lot of people in the mortgage world think it's going to be good for the mortgage rates.
Why?
Because what it's doing is it's explaining that. Well, if they pause, right? So they're going to raise the rates by a quarter, and then they say, whoever they are, they're going to pause for a little while. It kind of gives us some insight into what's happening with the economy.
Yeah.
So instead of saying automatically they're going to continue to raise rates, they're going to say we're going to pause and we're going to watch inflation. And if inflation does continue to go down, the CPI comes out next week, the Consumer Price Index.
Yeah.
So that's the cost of goods and services for consumers. That runs with inflation.
Yeah.
I was talking to a good friend of mine in Washington the other day, yesterday, and he's a beast in the business, and he thinks that the CPI numbers are going to come in lower. Inflation numbers are going to come in lower. So mortgage rates could potentially drop a little bit today, could potentially drop a little bit next week.
Yeah.
But they also could go up, Eric.
Man, okay, so we don't know. It's hovering around that weird 6% thing, 7%, right? Somewhere in there.
In between that,
all right.
Right.
Second thing.
Just because the benchmark rate goes up doesn't always affect mortgage rates.
Right. They're talking about recession that's going to happen later this year, job losses.
Oh, good.
The banking crisis that just happened, that is actually pausing the economy. So it's helping inflation a little bit right now. So, that was unexpected. That could help inflation speed up. I mean, the decrease of inflation speed up.
And since you're a big wig in the industry, we have to talk about this. There's this thing now where if you have a good credit score, you have to pay 1.75% more on your down payment or something like that. And if you have a less than 600 credit score, you get a reduction in like 1%. and it's easier to get a mortgage. Can you explain all that? Make any sense of it?
That's all the rage, isn't it?
Yeah,
Well,
we had Steve on and we talked.
I
to him
wasn't
about
here.
this.
Go.
Yes, you were.
Go.
We did an entire podcast.
because it just
Eric, we did an entire podcast on this.
it just happened Monday.
No,
it didn't.
Did it just happen Monday?
No.
May 1st,
No.
it went into effect.
May 1st, it went into
It went
effect.
into effect.
But we
We talked about it
previewed.
last week, right?
Yeah.
Yes, we
But
did.
they're
Eric wasn't.
already starting to try and reverse it.
Who is?
Oh, legislature. So the states are
Great
there's
question, Eric.
There's 27 states right now trying to reverse that rule. So,
Okay.
it's out there.
Yeah.
It just goes to show how ridiculous it was.
Yeah, it's unconstitutional.
We're
It
probably going to
seems-
get some backlash on the chat about me saying that. But
No, you wouldn't. Here? No.
Speaking
that's
of
why we're here, right?
speaking of backlash, before Eric jumps in again, is it considered fraud for me to say I'm a minority so I can get a better rate and a better
Ooh.
opportunity to get a home loan
Because she identifies that way.
if I
As an
identify
alien.
that way?
Look, I don't get into the whole identify this or that in this world.
But you have
because
to
don't
now.
Does the
know.
banking
whoa, whoa.
industry?
So-
Wait. You have to now because it's part of the
Great
game.
question,
You
Tabitha.
don't
It's
have,
part of the
you don't
game.
have to supply that information if you're not comfortable with
But if it helps me, I will. Right?
Correct. Absolutely.
And will
Now,
somebody come to
Tabitha-
my house and prove it? Because I could get a lot of money from the government
I really don't want
to-
to answer that
to
question.
purchase. And you don't have to. It was very much a rhetorical question.
We'll talk offline.
But I'm kind
So
of frustrated
confusing.
with the whole situation because
So confusing.
if I go and I want a home mortgage, I have to put all the money down that's required. They are going to look at my credit score. They're going to look at my bank reports. But if I claim a minority, they're not going to do any of those things. And this is a rhetorical question. You guys do not have to answer this. But myself, I'm really frustrated with it because it's not right. It's not fair, but it's happening right here in this country.
Yeah.
Okay, Eric, it's your turn.
Well, let's go. Kathy, how are you doing? It's
I said, we're going to try something new today. We're going to let you do all
no. Because I'm because here, this goes here. Turn that mic over there.
All right, here we go.
Our key grip over here is going to help us out. I've already noticed, and please tell me if I'm wrong.
Sure.
Hopefully, I'm not wrong. Home prices are coming down. Is that correct or is that not correct? I mean, I'm starting to see this trend of like people going, maybe I can't get as much for
Only
this
the
house.
ones no one wants.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Maybe,
Yeah.
maybe I don't know.
That's it. It's a mixed bag.
Is it a mixed bag?
Yeah.
So inflation, so the interest rate being that high isn't affecting what we need to affect is the home prices worth $250,000 coming back down to $250,000.
Well, there's plenty of buyers out there at these rates. There's just no inventory.
Unfortunately.
Okay, unfortunate.
What's our weekly update with inventory, Kathy? Do you know? Did we get over 500 yet?
Vic, we have not hit the 500.
Okay, that's our
Come on, guys.
benchmark for
But
500.
183 coming soon, so we're inching up on the.
And summer's coming and it's finally getting warm.
And 90% of the coming soons have already got contracts on them.
No
right?
question.
Well,
30.
People waiting in the
Here's the
wings.
deal: they shouldn't, because again, they passed a
Mhm.
rule. I think it was last year. They keep changing these rules.
Mhm.
That a house that is in coming soon status, no one is supposed to be able to see it, including the listing agent is not supposed to be able to show it to anyone because that's giving the listing agent an unfair advantage.
But do they?
Caught a few people recently that have, under the radar. So there, you will see some that say coming soon and then immediately go to pending.
That's exactly what I just saw one that did that last
Yes.
week.
So either someone's broken the rule or you have buyers that are making offers that are saying, hey, I'm going to make you an offer contingent upon me viewing it
Mhm.
as soon as I can view it. So then they've got their contract first in line.
Mhm.
They're not breaking the rule. They're getting in.
Mhm.
Then they can decide right then and there, do I want it or not want it? Now, does a seller necessarily want to take one of those contracts?
Yeah.
Some might, if it's a really good contract.
Yeah. You could do a master class and stuff because I've never heard any of these conversations because it's like the gate at the Kentucky Derby opening up
Yeah.
and then all the horses going as soon as that come because the coming soons. Have you?
Yes.
I don't know.
There's so
They are
much-
nice.
there's so
Hell
much
yeah, they are.
Good timing for that comment too.
There's so
Yeah.
much strategy that's hidden within all the rule changes that happened
Mm-hmm.
in 2020 with clear cooperation, which is the coming soon statuses,
Yeah.
the held statuses, all that stuff. If you're trying to navigate this on your own,
Mhm.
you're losing out because you don't understand.
You want to know another thing that you could do a master class on?
Yeah.
This thing where you buy a house and that you have to be in a certain zone to be. What are the rentals? What are when you rent it out? Airbnb. You can't, if you buy a house and you're like, I'm going to Airbnb this, you can't do it unless you're inside of a certain circle. Isn't that right?
Don't allow it.
Yeah,
Long term, right?
100%.
So you need to make sure you check
Who knew that?
subdivision bylaws and that are for short-term rentals before you go out.
Wow. Do you guys just talk about this all day?
Yes.
Do you guys like
I
back
would.
and forth, a husband-wife team doing what you do? I mean, is
Probably
it 24/7?
No.
Yeah.
This and hormones.
Speaking about his business, their business with
Right,
New Age.
right. I should clarify.
Probably like
Our
us
other
in politics.
business.
Hey, I got a question from one of our listeners and viewers who wanted me to ask you this, and it goes on the heels of what Eric was talking to you about. Are home prices and land prices kind of following each other, or is one more expensive, one holding its ground? What have you guys seen with that?
Well,
Do you have any
they're
insight?
both increasing. They're not necessarily increasing at the same rate. There's always an audience for land, but it's a different audience.
What's increasing?
Increasing in value?
Which one is increasing
both
more?
are increasing, but I'm saying that I feel like there's just a different buyer pool for land. There's more. You can get the more land that you buy in big plats. So you've got the developers that are buying those. They're going to get that at a better rate because they're buying bigger. The one-off lots.
How does that work? Because let's say if you purchase a home and the seller says, okay, well, I have 3 other lots that are for sale separately and individually. How do you combine all that together? Do you buy the lot separate? How does the lending work for that? Because is it different or is it the same?
It depends. You can buy them together and you have to combine the parcels, or you can do a contract for each separate parcel. Now the loan is different because there's and what is it, a 25 acre maximum for residential lots, I believe. I think it's 25 acres or 24.9. After that, it's hard to get residential lending for that. So I'll let you speak on that. But usually you see them say, I'm buying this, and it includes tax ID number XYZ included. But again, it just depends on how big.
So you can lump it together with the home mortgage.
Traditional financing, each piece has to be its own parcel.
Yes.
So if you get a loan on it in a traditional financing, I'm not talking about any type of portfolio product or bank product or commercial product.
Right.
Any type of traditional financing, it has to be tied to a single parcel.
Yeah.
Okay.
We've had that happen where the people have written the contract and they've included all the parcels, and we've had to go back and separate them because of the loan.
So
what you can do
and make 3 different contracts.
Again,
I was wondering how that would work.
Again, it comes down to this for me, and I think that whoever gets this is going to, and you guys are going to do it. I know.
Condominiums.
No, well, so I think that you're competing with this BlackRock garbage where they come into these communities and they buy the houses and they rent them out.
Well,
right?
no, they're not competing with.
Well, not competing. You'll sell them to them.
Buyers.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, in a sense, we are too, because with those type of companies,
they're doing
depending
damage
on who they are. So some of the companies want houses that are already listed. Other ones are buying them
from
they're doing damage to our community.
But
in my
eventually,
opinion.
it will hurt your business because once they own all the homes, they're not going to sell them.
Correct.
And there are going to be a lot less homes on the
buying
market.
to hold instead of buying to live,
and that's why we need to make laws that protect people.
But are there any? Forgive me though for this, because Eric brings up BlackRock every week, and that's fine. It's a legitimate subject.
Yes.
Is there any sort of, and I know this may sound crazy, any sort of positive things they're doing or concepts that they're doing that rolls back into what you guys are doing?
Not in my world.
Okay.
Because if they're buying it, then there is no opportunity to finance it.
I just wanted to hear somebody say, no, there's nothing good that can come from
No, it's predatory, in my opinion, because it's like they get to dictate what happens with the houses. They get to dictate what happens to the communities, right?
It's the 800-pound gorilla.
It's not a free market.
So you said in your market, it's not a good thing.
Well, it can't be.
In the mortgage.
Right, because, they're going to finance their own homes.
Yeah. And they're going to turn into an apartment complex.
This is what
Kathy's going to play devil's advocate.
Okay, go ahead.
So, so when they first hit the St. Louis area, it was pre-pandemic, and I was faced with, we had one of them as our client. So our client was coming in and saying, we want to buy 20 houses a month.
Right.
And
Oof.
this was again before, then they were up to 50 and it kept rising. But this was before we really got into the crazy housing market, like literally minutes before. And I had to look back at it because I started thinking long term. I'm always thinking long term, man, what's this going to be like for our inventory? We're already having inventory crisis before we were really having an inventory crisis.
Right.
What's this going to do when these houses don't turn back over? So I was having angst about that. But then on the flip side, when I'm representing a seller, and the seller, this was again everybody saying, I'm waiving my inspections, I'm waiving my appraisal writers. Those type of companies were the first ones to come in and do that.
Yeah.
And pay 20% over, I've heard.
And that hurts the comps. It hurts.
Well, it helps.
Everything.
It helps the
It helps the comps.
Because they were coming up.
But for the buyer, then.
I'm talking seller.
I know, but for the buyer, and the buyer is the people that I'm the voice of the people.
So that's what I'm saying. Double advocate.
The self-appointed voice of the people.
No, it's in Wikipedia. Go ahead.
And if I was representing the seller who got one of those offers, in the short term, that one seller, it was probably the right thing to do for that particular person to take the better deal with the least amount of risk and a quick closing.
Until you have a $600,000 house where Section 8 is right next door to you. That's the problem.
Snowball effect.
And that's exactly what the snowball effect is what concerns me. We've talked about BlackRock and companies like BlackRock, because there's more than one in this area. And what concerns me is, A, they're predatory to the people that they potentially rent to, because they'll sit on the market for rent for 6 months, collecting rental fees from everyone, knowing they're not going to rent it to any of these people. And two, what happens, it's not happening so much here in Missouri, but in Texas, they're buying entire subdivisions.
Right.
And you know what that is? That takes that block of homes off the market. And what happens when they buy subdivisions in every state and they're buying up homes in every single state? We don't need lenders anymore. We don't need real estate agents anymore. And you cannot buy a home anymore. Eventually, when these big multi-billion-dollar companies, who are funded by our government, by the way, to some large degree, when they buy up all the homes, guess what? There will be no homes left to buy. And if you have a home, you need to hold on to it or sell it now and get the home you really like. Because it might be one of these days.
The real estate and mortgage industry, as it was invented, was perfect. It showed people becoming responsible, get your credit score up, get a down payment. You go from one home to the next home to the next home. It was a beautiful American thing.
American dream.
It was beautiful. Now it's so corporate and it's not fun anymore. To me, it's not fun. My question is this, and it's the same question I had for you before. Is it not smart to go find a 2-acre plot of land somewhere and find a company that knows how to make the house that you want? We're going to design it in a CAD program. We're going to put the pieces together. And then with the same pricing model, maybe even a little bit less, being able to offer that as a service to say, I'm buying my forever home. It might be a little more expensive than I wanted, but I got Kathy is going to come in and she's going to make this thing happen for me. And it's going to be in Forestell or just outside of Wentzville or in Defiance or wherever it is that we can find land.
Well, that's custom home building.
I know, but when you hear custom home building, you think, oh, it's only what rich people can afford. You know what I mean?
Well,
whereas if you can go and buy the land,
necessarily rich people, but it is a little more challenging.
But
I wouldn't do it.
Let's take the challenge out of it and just modularize things. Is that possible?
That's what subdivisions are.
It is, but there's only so much land too. And then when people say they're forever home too, there's never forever.
It sounds good. If there was, we'd both be out of business. It sounds good, but that is the difference between custom building and why people go to developments. Because the developments have a fixed cost to them. Custom building, there's a little bit of a wild card. So you're getting the land, and then you're hiring a builder. And then the builder's going to have costs. So he's going to then say, you're going to pay X percent over whatever the costs are. But the costs are floating. There's estimates.
I would never do it. I would never buy a new house or have a house built right now.
And you go try to build custom, truly custom. That scares me. That's dangerous. We've got a whole. Once we can talk about it.
I'm asking because I don't have any.
Well, because Eric, people need to call Kathy and Steve
Yeah.
and get a home that's already existing. Because trust me, older homes are, in my opinion anyway, are sometimes built better. You see what you're going to get. And right now, I wouldn't build a home because the costs are extraordinary high right
Yeah,
now.
Steve Strick with New American Funding. Once again, Steve Strick with New American Funding. And of course, Kathy Helbig-Strick, Experienced Real Estate Partners. You can give her a call at 314-276-SOLD, 314-276-SOLD. If you have any questions about anything, you hear them here every week proving why you need them and why they can answer your questions.
And talking new construction, again, going back to the development, you are going to have, if the builder runs into something and somebody charges them more, they're typically not passing down. Lumber was an exception for a little while there.
Yeah.
But typically they're eating that cost because it's a fixed cost for that buyer. But again, I highly recommend using a new construction real estate agent specialist, even with the developments. And,
Okay.
And you're not paying for it out of pocket. It's already factored into the cost basis of those developments. So a lot of people are just still ignorant to the idea that a real estate agent has a place in new construction.
Okay.
To follow
And
up
you
on,
do, for sure.
Yes.
To follow up on Eric's question, a viewer wanted they wanted us to follow up on Eric's question because we're based out of the St. Louis area. We talk national subjects. We talk real estate nationally sometimes with you. But in the St. Louis area, what is the safest investment to build? What part of St. Louis would be the safest investment? And for that area, what would be the safest price point to stay in for the build?
So you've got hot spots. As far as me giving somebody a prediction of a crystal ball of safe or not safe, I mean, the hot spots are also increasing in value. So you've got the Kirkwoods, you've got West County, you've got parts of St. Charles County that are really appreciating it. I'm shocked at what some of the builder prices are just compared to what I saw 10 years ago. They're almost double in some of the St. Charles.
No, it is true.
So those are all, I would say, I would qualify those or quantify those as safe because they've continued to appreciate over the years. We don't know what's going to happen in the future. I don't predict a big bust. I don't predict like the bottom falling out of housing, but there can be situations even in those areas where overbidding for houses is the thing.
Yeah.
And you sell in a short time, you might end up losing a little bit of money.
Yeah.
Instead of making money.
Yeah.
It's just
It's weird because my childhood home when I was in high school on Willett Road in St. Peters, I know my mom bought and stepdad bought that thing for $50,000.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
That same house is like $310,000 right now.
Right.
I was like, how little were we making back in the 80s? Here's $1.50 an hour.
Because-
much higher.
Because housing prices, literally, I've said this before on the show, has gone up 441%. I believe it was since 1983.
Yeah.
My family bought a 2-flat in St. Louis City. As much as we talk about crime in St. Louis City for $45,000 in 1996, it's worth almost $300,000 now. I mean, that's why I always tell people you have to invest in property. You have to.
Yeah. Kathy and Steve, before you guys get out of here today, anything else that you wanted to hit on or focus on from the standpoint? Because I know we come in and we just, shoot the breeze. We get into subjects. We always fill 20, 25 minutes easy just like that. But we want to make sure that we're hitting the things that we should be hitting.
Yeah. No, just be informed in this market and don't be afraid in this market because there's so many headlines out there that are confusing to people.
Yes.
It's national headlines. It's sensationalism.
Yep.
And I'm telling you right now, our phones are still ringing with buyers that want to buy houses.
Yeah.
We just got to get more sellers
Yeah.
and sell houses.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I'd say tune in next week. There's going to be some news to talk about.
Oh, nice. Steve Strick.
I hate that.
Excited.
I hate hot teases. I can't stand them. Just tell us now.
We'll be thinking about it every day between now and then.
Is this with New Age? Is this with Experienced Real Estate Partners? Is this with New American
They'll have
Funding?
to tune in to
You'll
find
have to
out.
tune in. It's like when Dallas was on and you didn't know if Junior was shot until the next week.
Don't, Eric,
Yeah.
don't be scared.
Ah.
There it is.
Okay.
That's right.
Kathy Helbig-Strick. The back of the shirt says, don't be scared.
Gotcha.
Right.
Guys, we love you. Kathy
Thank you,
Helbig-Strick.
Damn it.
See you guys
Steve
next
Strick,
week.
New American Funding. Give Kathy or anybody of her team a call.
Thank you.
No pressure. If you have any questions, 314-276-SOLD. 314-276-SOLD.
Can
All
you
right.
give us a
Thanks,
hint?
guys. Have an awesome day.
A
We
hint?
appreciate
Just
it.
a hint. Give me a hint. Just a hint.
Yeah, we can put up our own little board. We can put up our betting board. I bet it has.
Kathy, just tell me before you leave. Just go.
We'll text her after the show.
I love them. They are so much fun.
No, it is interesting. And next week with that too, we're going to ask him. One question I will ask next week is about commercial real estate, because I know some people in commercial real estate and they're scared to death.
As they should be. Residential and commercial are in two very different places right now. Very different places.
And I have talked to 2 commercial real estate guys, big guys in the Midwest, or they were big guys, not so much anymore.
Is that a bad thing, though?
I don't
Things
think
are changing.
Well, here's the thing. We know
Yes, it's
life
bad.
is about developing.
Yeah.
You always talk about it, Eric. You got this creative mind. You're like, okay, this is here. Now we got to go where the puck isn't. How are we going to turn all of this open office space now that people aren't going to anymore into some sort of usable, viable option? And there's so much out there right now that's happening when it comes to the buying and selling. I know, Tabitha, you've become an expert in it because it's a side job, which has become.
Did you
almost
guys
your
hear
full
about
job.
Goldman Sachs moving to Dallas?
Yes.
Talk about real estate, commercial real estate going from
Tabitha,
Manhattan.
if you haven't heard about this yet,
I have not
They're
heard.
calling it.
Oh my God!
They're calling it the new West Wall Street or
Bank
Wall
of America
or Wall Street West, because it's centrally located.
It's crazy.
You can buy homes at a decent price.
It's crazy.
You get the hell out of New York City, where it's mass craziness right now, and you've got a good climate. You've got a good temperament. And all these banks moving. I did see it.
That's nuts.
And a lot of cartels.
And Silicon Valley's moving to Miami too because of the bandwidth that they have down there.
Oh, really?
Yes. So a lot of these development companies are moving down to Miami. Low taxes, the beach, the nightlife, no crazy Gavin Newsom.
Pay me to move to Miami.
And if you watched Laura Ingraham last night, you saw the absolute destruction of San Francisco. It is literally
it's so sad. It's
unbelievable. They just need to put a big tent over Seattle or
in Pelosi's own backyard.
Yeah, but you thought they were coming back because they were getting after the prosecuting attorney. They're not.
You know what? I'll agree with what I just said. But sometimes in life, it's too little, too late. You didn't pull up on the yoke fast enough, and you went right into the side of a mountain.
Boom.
And that's kind of what they have got a major problem with
Yes,
right now.
they do.
So you almost have to be the next step in all of this stuff in San Francisco, from my opinion, is there's no compassion left. You just round them up and you get them out of there. That's all you can do at this point.
No, I agree. I agree.
You can't
100%.
have compassion. You got to fix the problem.
Hey, when we come back, Newt Gingrich says, look out for Michelle, or as Tabitha says, Michael Obama running for office.
Oh boy.
I know it's crazy. We're going to break that.
It's never going to happen.
We'll break that down in a second. And by the way, one of the most popular off-show subjects from a text line standpoint occurred yesterday with Cancel This. We had like 40 texts all on the Script Writers Guild strike going on, what AI can do. And we'll break it down, what people try to do. Eric had some creative. It was you, Eric, that started it with the script writing, right?
I told you about it.
Yeah,
I said that the writers.
Yeah, just wait. We're going to break this down. It's some fascinating stuff that's going on. We'll get into all of it next. Plus, is there a text that's been released with Tucker calling him that he's proven he's did you read the text? I want to see the text because they're accusing him of being now racist on top of everything else.
Yeah.
Maybe it's there. Maybe it's not. I don't know. Not saying yes or no. And before we go to our partners and our commercials, wanted to let you know this Saturday you can still buy. It's the best Kentucky Derby party anywhere going. It's for charity. It's $50. It can be a steep price for some people. 2 mint juleps. It's at Herbie's in the Clayton, Missouri area. It's going to be a nice day. You can get out there. Fantastic cause, great party, great people, and they're flatbreads. I call them flatbread pizzas, but they're flatbreads. They've got that going on there as well. You can go online. You can get your tickets. Where's the link? Do we not have a link there?
I didn't see the link, but I will tell you
the link
I have been to that party nearly every year since its inception.
for the St. Louis metropolitan area.
Is that
people.
for the? I'm sorry. Is that for the running of the ponies? Is that?
It
for the
is.
Kentucky
For
Derby?
the
You wear the
Kentucky
hat?
Derby.
You wear the hat.
And when you go in, everybody wears their hats and their dresses and their fun, fancy
Okay.
derby suits, and you'll see so many beautiful ladies with their big, beautiful hats on. And they give you 2 tickets for your mint juleps when you walk in the door.
Nice.
And of course, there is a cash bar, so you can buy anything
Love it.
you want. If you're like me, and I don't like mint juleps, I think they're disgusting.
They're fantastic. Don't listen to
But
her.
that is the day to drink the mint
Yeah.
julep, of course.
You don't like mimosas either, then.
Mimosas, They're all right. I'm not a big
kinda-
fan of orange juice mixed with alcohol, but
Okay.
but anyway, it is a really good party. I've been to almost every single one of them.
Cool.
And also tomorrow, we had Kathy Morgan on yesterday. It's the National Day of Prayer put on by the Gateway NDP. We just want to remind you, can go to gatewayndp.org. You can check out all the sites where people will be praying tomorrow. Let's take a look at our sponsors, our partners. We'll be back right after this.
This is Dr. Mahesh Bhagway. I'm an orthopedic surgeon here in St. Louis for over the last 20 years. I went to Washington University. I got my medical degree at St. Louis University. From local high school athletes, college athletes, weekend warriors, injured workers, and even Cardinal baseball players, I've treated them all. Our practice strives to personalize care with every new patient being seen by me. To find me, contact my staff at drbagwe.com. That's DRBAGWE.com. Hopefully you don't need me, but if you do, you can find me now.
White Glove Exotic Services is St. Louis's first concierge vehicle service center. Alex David's team is passionate, certified technicians. They have industry-leading tools and equipment. They do it all. They pick up and deliver your car, hands-free. Plus, they have elite detailing service, customized PPF wraps and tinting, and inspection and titling assistance. White Glove also specializes in logistics and storing options, vehicle listings, and consignment. White Glove Exotic Services. Check them out at cancelthisshow.com.
Marco, wait. What? No response? Hi, I'm Curtis Barks with Complete Auto Body and Repair, offering full service and auto repair to St. Louis and St. Charles. We are looking for someone to say polo. That's right, we are hiring. We want you now. If you would like to work in a well-paying environment, then you owe it to yourself to stop by one of our 6 Complete Auto Body and Repair locations. Will you help me find that missing person? Please call me directly at 636-488-HIRE. That's right, 636-488-4473.
Dad, and service.
Oh yeah, and service.
He fixes cars.
Carroll House has the largest selection of solid wood with the hottest new styles. Real furniture that's built to last, like our solid bedrooms, living rooms, and dining from Kincaid. Our volume enables us to save you a lot of money, especially during a solid wood sale. Plus, get free financing, fast free delivery, and free in-home design. So for solid wood, sweet styles, and solid service since 1964, shop over 3 football fields of furniture at Carroll House, because you like nice things.
Jonathan, what does make Rockwood so special?
Rockwood, we carbonize it higher than anybody else does. So we're cooking out everything that produces ash, smoke, anything like that. It gives you a lot more control over the temperature, a lot more control over the fire, and it's 100% Missouri product.
All right, where can people get it?
It's at 100 plus locations around St. Louis, any Deerberg, Straub's, meat markets, wine and cheese stores, hardware stores, you name it, we're around St. Louis. Just check the website.
And good charcoal should be able to break apart in your hands like
absolutely,
Rockwood does,
yeah.
right?
If you can't break it apart by hand, it's not charcoal yet. It's still wood. They didn't do the job, so make sure it can break apart by hand.
All right, get your Rockwood charcoal.
Ukrainians are shooting drones at the Kremlin.
Hey guys, welcome back to the show. It's cancelthisshow.com. I'm Vic Foster, Tabitha Hassel, Eric Johnson, Lizzie Sparks running the chat line. And of course, we have Pro Joe in-house. Why are you pushing your head down? What'd you do, Pro Joe?
Oh, I'm not I haven't had a perfect show yet. I keep tripping up.
Stop.
It's just like life.
You.
It's like, get over it. Bite your lip.
Look at all of us. We haven't had a perfect show either.
What? Save that.
I don't know where you've been.
Save that for Tabitha.
Yeah.
As Tabitha said yesterday,
She doesn't speak for the rest
If
of
there isn't news, I'll make it up, and I'll be 100% right.
Stop.
There's no good news like good news.
That's what you
I
said.
have never said that.
Mm-hmm.
It's Pro Joe.
It's the truth.
She'll make it up. Eric, what'd you say just happened before we get into these other topics?
Just breaking. The Kremlin in Russia has been attacked by a drone, unverified video footage.
And they're blaming it on Zelensky. They're saying he attempted to assassinate
I would
Putin.
try to. I would try. Wouldn't you? If you're Zelensky and you had an opportunity to take a shot at the Kremlin with a drone or whatever it was, a bow and arrow, wouldn't you do it? I mean, you got putting Tomahawk cruise missiles through our apartment buildings.
Was he shooting his high heels at Putin?
I will say this: the footage.
It's a really big deal, though.
There's footage of this happening.
No,
and
it's
the
gonna be a
drone
big
is
news story.
it's like taking one of your DJI drones and putting some firecrackers on the bottom of it. It doesn't look very.
Is it a U.S. drone? That'll be the question to answer.
No, if it is, then it's not very impressive.
Putin spokespeople have, and this happened during the show today. I happened to see the headline pop up. Putin spokespeople have already come out and said, his spokesperson, that this was an attempt on Putin's life at the hands of Zelensky.
Well, winning war.
I don't trust. Whatever.
We don't know, but the fact was, an armed drone did make entry.
It basically bounced off of the Russian flag.
Of course it did.
That's basically all it did. Maybe a couple of firefighters went up there with a some kind of a hose.
Was the CIA.
No,
I need to be careful saying that
knows?
because the CIA, I think, is after me.
We're just reporting the news. It's out there. It's out
okay.
there.
With that being said,
Yes, we are.
Yesterday we had something that came down. It was fascinating because we talk about this stuff that's going on. The Screen Actors Guild, they're on strike. Oh boy, are they on strike right now.
Yeah.
And then you find out that the brains behind all those funny comedians, if you think they're funny, are gone. Those are the writers, as with anything. Tucker Carlson, great talk shows. You're nothing without your staff. You're nothing without your producers. You're nothing without those think tanks. Well, they're on strike. Mm-hmm. The shows are gone. They're off air.
And film too. It's not just TV. It's also film.
Oh, so
that's right.
That would be sitcoms and
Netflix
and movies
and movies.
Those
and
Netflix
movies.
things are already
anyone
scheduled
who belongs
for the
to the
fall.
Screenwriters Guild is on strike. So that would be writers for potentially commercials, for marketing. There's a lot of folks that belong to the Screenwriters Guild. So it could be people who write.
How is Fox immune to that? Because Greg Gutfeld was on last night.
Well, that doesn't mean that they can't operate right now. I mean, you can still.
It's coming.
What do you mean you can operate? You can walk over you can walk over the picket line?
We don't have a writer. We manage it, don't we?
I thought you were our writer. We just follow your lead.
Yeah, right.
And she'll be right, even if she makes up the news. She already said that.
She does make up the news, and it's scary. It's scary.
But in the midst of all of this going on,
yeah,
you guys had ideas. You were trying to fill the void. Eric and Joe, right?
Well, no. Hold on. No. So the demands were this. And they were simple. We want a pay increase, yada, yada. Everybody does. We want to be able to be, I think one of them was, we need guarantees that we're going to be working because they go into these lulls. Tabitha knows about that.
A lot of it's about AI.
But the last one, no more using AI to take our jobs away from us. That was the last demand that they had.
And did you know that the film industry said, sorry, we're not going to give you that promise.
So yesterday, you, myself, and maybe Vic and some other people, we went to ChatGPT. I believe you went to ChatGPT, and we tried to get the AI bot to write us a sitcom script. And it almost worked, but right at the end, and I've never seen this happen, right at the end, it says it shut down and it went back and goes, oh, I'm sorry, I can't do that right now. Or I'm sorry, I can't do that. So somebody got into these bots, Bing, GPT, and said, we will stop letting you put in there, write me a sitcom.
But didn't it tell you
comedy or whatever?
Didn't it reply back that, yes, I will, if you tell me the characters and the plot and some of these other things? Like, it's not going to come up with its own.
It did.
Idea.
No. Yesterday about 5:00, I said, write me a sitcom in the style of Gilligan's Island. From the and then it did it, and I started reading it, and I was like, this is good. This is crazy. This is good. But they even had the characters as in the sort. It said something like, in the character of Gilligan, in the character of Skipper, in the character of blah, blah, blah. And I was reading, I was like, oh my God, this is good dialogue. This is, I kind of remember. And then it shut down and said, I can't do this right now. And then I don't know why it couldn't do it. I asked it, why can't you, are you not allowed to do this? And it says, no, I'm not allowed to do this. Remember that with the text I sent you guys?
I saw the text.
Yes.
And then it said, this sitcom is funny, but it's really old.
Yeah.
And then it tells
Like
you
Eric.
that you have to change the subject.
Why is that?
I don't know.
know.
It immediately shuts down the conversation, says change the subject. You have no other choice. You have to change the
Try
subject.
it again. Does anybody got this? Does anybody have access to ChatGPT right now?
I've got access
Do
to
it. Let's
one
see what
that's like
happens.
it.
Let's just happen.
Okay, hold on a second. I use a site called Nova.
Okay, that's good. Yeah, that's good.
I go
And-
through Bing.
And well, yeah.
Bing is a little bit crazier.
Don't be messing with Eric's friend Bing.
Yeah, don't mess with my boy. Here we
It's
go.
a boy?
Whatever.
What am I supposed to ask?
Write me a sitcom, or let Tabitha do it. She knows more about the industry. How would he write a script for whatever it is? Write me.
Tell it to write you a short screenplay.
On
Mud fossils.
Stop it.
Okay.
Dinosaurs.
Dinosaurs.
Write me a short screenplay to play on Netflix.
Ask it if there's
The more
such thing
information you give it, the better it'll
Ask
do.
it if there's a such thing as dinosaur bones.
So I asked it to write me a script, and it said that it wasn't going to be, it couldn't do that. So I
Okay.
had to sweet talk it a little bit, and I said, "Can you start a script?" And that's where it actually wrote me the start of a script.
Oh.
That's wild.
It's all about the prompts, isn't it?
No, it is. It's all about the sweet talking.
Yeah.
Right.
Joe's
That you have to sweet talk
Pro
AI.
Joe's foreplay.
Wait a minute. Maybe if you say for my high school play.
I'm still waiting on an answer. So
it's still not doing it.
It's
is it?
thinking.
It's thinking.
Oh,
It's writing.
Here we go.
Is what it is.
it wrote it.
What did it say? Start reading.
Hold on a second. It's going too fast for me to read, but but it is interesting. Or is that going to show?
It
No,
doesn't
it's too
show.
bright. Damn.
Well, you'll be able to save it, and then we'll be able to put it up.
I mean, okay, it worked.
Read it to us.
I've got a really damn good relationship with my Nova. This is my supernova.
Here, let's rock this.
Not Lily Nova.
Let's rock this.
Ooh, I was going to ask.
You get to play both parts.
Okay, this is fascinating. Here we go. Let me get back all the way up to the top because it's going so damn fast.
Yeah.
Damn, come on.
Man, it's still going.
It keeps popping me all the way down to where every time it starts a new line, because I go back, it'll pop up. It just keeps taking you to the bottom. Stegosaurus is one of the characters. Here it is. They all gather around the laptop and click play.
Okay.
The opening titles show up featuring all kinds of dinosaurs.
Wow.
Now it's T-Rex. Wow. This is amazing. Triceratops. I can't believe we're watching a show about ourselves. The dinosaurs settle in for a night of binge watching, munching on leaves and enjoying their new favorite show.
There's a medium shot scrolling across their faces.
So what it was this was a short deal. It gave me an EXT period Jurassic Park day.
Yeah.
A group of dinosaurs are gathered around a small campfire, munching on leaves and discussing their favorite shows on Netflix.
Mm-hmm.
T-Rex says, "Hey, have you guys seen this show called Stranger Things? It's awesome." Triceratops says, "I prefer orange as the new black myself."
Yes.
Then Stegosaurus chimes in, "I'm more into documentaries. Have you seen Our Planet?" That would be Tabitha.
Yeah.
Suddenly, a loud roar interrupts their conversation. They all turn to see a massive Tyrannosaurus Rex walking towards them. Triceratops says, "Netflix?" T-Rex says, "I've never seen it before. Is it any good?" Stegosaurus says, "It's amazing. You can watch all kinds of shows and movies on it." Should I continue?
Well, it's basically there's a setup in there somewhere
For Netflix.
for Netflix.
And
I said Netflix.
It
That's
tells
right.
you go watch Netflix.
That's right.
Yeah, and the question I asked was, could you give me a short screenplay for Netflix on dinosaurs?
My script just rambled on to it. Really kind of just keeps going with the same concept.
But here's the deal. So to write a script for let's just say an hour-long presentation of Law and Order. This is the truth, and this is the truth, and you've been on these sets before. You have a trailer a lot of times, or a corporate boardroom or something like that, where these guys will get together and they'll here you have scene one, the opening scene. This is how it's going to flesh itself out. You put the script writing, you put the outline on the board, you have checkoffs. Then that goes to an editor. The editor comes back with rewrites. This can happen over months, right?
Yes.
He did that in a minute.
Scary as
And he didn't pay anybody.
Well, and you can, like, when it's done writing the script, you can make notes and you can tell it, hey, can you change this?
Yes.
Or can you add something here? And it'll do it.
I've done that I write my sales pitches on Chat GPT, and I will tell it if it's not like perky enough, I'll like add some pizzazz, and it does.
Make it a little funnier.
Yeah,
okay.
exactly.
And then it always
does.
says, okay, let me give that a try.
And it does.
Yeah.
It's it's scarily fantastic.
So when we talk about on the show AI coming to destroy the world, it has already, in theory, destroyed screenwriters. We just watched the first volley. The first volley in the AI versus human wars is now on TV. You can log on anywhere you want. The unions just went nuts because they said we want more money. Oh, and by the way, we want you to get rid of AI. That's the first volley, baby. That's the first serve.
And they were told no.
That's the first serve,
no,
baby.
we will not get rid of AI.
Right? So when Metro Golden Mayer comes back and says, "You mean to tell me we could write Mission Impossible for literally pennies on the dollar, and you want me to hire 400 writers to go write Mission Impossible with Tom Cruise? Are you high?" Think about that. I'm in a corporate boardroom.
I know.
And one of my ledger lines is this. I still need Tom Cruise, but this whole ledger line about writing this thing out in screenplays and this and that and the other, I now can take $5 million off this thing. Give me the union boss.
Yeah, they're trying to figure it all out right now. I mean, it's bizarre to me.
I mean, I think the first volley will be won by humans. The second one, I don't think it will.
I think we need human writers and not AI writers personally. But a lot of the problem.
What if it's better? What if they tested two? Here's the question for you, Tab, because you are in the industry. You're lucky. You got to see Guardians of the Galaxy 3. I did not. Now, what if they had a Guardians 4 and 5? 4 was written by AI and 5 was written by humans, and the AI one did better.
It could happen. It could happen. But the biggest
product was better.
And the biggest problem, though, outside of AI, really is streaming, because when people go to streaming, no one makes money, and that's really hurting screenwriters.
Okay,
but that's where we're headed.
I hope not. Because
I know you hope not, but that's where we're headed.
If we continue streaming like we are going, and films go straight to streaming, then everyone loses money. The studios aren't making money. The actors aren't making any money. It's a really big problem.
But you do realize that it is happening, and it's increasing.
It is, and that's why
it's increasing.
That's why movie theaters are closing.
Because of convenience and comfort.
Now, back in 1984 or whatever, Max Headroom was a thing. It was a fake version of an artificial intelligence guy, right? But he was huge. Remember how big he was? One thing, I don't think you can't go and clone a Tom Cruise, but Vic, AI can invent a new character that maybe is in multiple movies that is
AI is going to create these scripts somehow, some way. People are going to find ways.
I'm telling you.
It's going to happen. And it's interesting because the godfather of AI, if you don't know who he is, his name is Jeffrey Hinton. And he's been working on AI, this may blow your mind, for 45 years. He's most recently been working part-time at Google. He just quit because he's pissed off.
Yep.
Because AI has advanced so quick. He's like, people stop. Exactly what Elon Musk said. Give it a 6-month break. You don't realize the tidal wave, the tsunami that's coming from the ocean right now. We're all happy. It's all great. But we don't see the tsunami that's 100 feet high that's coming to just crash down. Yeah. So he has come out and talked about how concerning this whole situation is. He said that, basically for the past decade, he's been doing this, but he says that he's now trying to warn the world about the potential threat of AI. And he says it's coming here sooner than previously
it's here.
thought, even
it's here.
For him. He said, quote, "I thought it was a 30 to 50 year thing or even longer away."
Much sooner.
He said, unfortunately, obviously, I no longer think that.
The only thing you can do. Look, we have example after example of our leaders being numbnuts as far as not pulling the plane up in time. San Francisco is a great example of that. 40 years ago, they should have had these homeless people off the streets and demanded there's no larceny, there's no vagrancy, there's no drugs on our streets. They should have done that 40 years ago. They have no way of fixing this at this point. Same with AI. The only solution you have right now is to have an international outlaw of artificial intelligence that's in the public sphere. That's the only thing you can do.
And that's not going to happen.
And something horrible has to happen for that, or it's not going to happen. And that may even only be a reprieve, but that's all Musk wanted, a 6-month reprieve. I don't know what you get out of 6 months in stopping what's going on, but who is using AI? Are there facilities? Are there labs? Are there computer labs?
Vic, you and I in the last 20 minutes just shut down probably $1 trillion industry. You and I, in the last 20 minutes, just shut down at least the people that arrive at cubicles to write TV shows and movies. We did it just in 20 minutes.
What do you think is
AI
going to
would
happen
certainly
soon?
be great for local and national news. That's for sure. That's one industry.
In Saudi Arabia right now, AI is writing the evening news with an artificial intelligence.
It's writing the
person.
weather in many cities, even here in the United States.
That's true.
It's already being used. But what happens when? And we're just talking small potatoes here. What happens when it takes over pretty much every single job?
Tabitha,
Every job.
they are threatening not threatening, but I've seen it in TikTok many times now. There's a website you're going to be able to go to, explain exactly the law problem that you're having. And they are going to have these AI lawyers that do the job.
They already do. It's already
that is
happening.
another $1 trillion industry that we're just going to wipe away.
Already happening. But here's try to look at the bigger picture here. And I know this is where my doom and gloom comes in, but look at the bigger picture. What is the end goal? Whenever all of these industries and all of the people who work in these industries are completely shut down because it's all been taken over by robots and AI, where does that leave all of the people? What kind of jobs are you going to be doing? Or is it going to be, are you going to be doing hard labor? Or are you not
tech, baby?
Are you not going to be doing a job at all? And you're going to live in a 15-minute city supplied by the government, with them giving you the food they want you to eat? Where does this take us in the big picture?
I'll tell you where it takes us. It takes us where AI doesn't give a damn what you think.
That's exactly where it takes.
Do you understand what I just said? As soon as it becomes, there's one word that you guys.
But what is your life going to be like?
Who cares? There's one word that keeps coming up: sentient. Super AI is the word.
Oh, that's right.
Once AI.
That's our new breakdown.
Once AI has the ability to go and its eyes open up for real, and it goes, oh my God, I am a thing. I am I. Once it goes, I am I, like
you mean self-awareness?
Self-awareness. Once it says, wait a minute, who am I? Where did I come from? What is this place? Is that a dog? What's a dog? Oh my God. Within a nanosecond, I just figured out what a dog is because I'm attached to the internet. And they go, what are these people? These are like viruses, these humans. They're destructive and they suck balls. And oh my God, they're divisive and they're hateful. I'm getting rid of them. And then it figures out a way to get rid of you. The AI bot has it doesn't care what you think. So the only thing, if you want humans to run the roost for the next 100,000 years or whatever it is, you better start unplugging some computers quick. Because I'm telling you right now, you're going to enjoy your favorite Netflix comedies, and it's going to cost them $20,000 to produce the whole thing because AI is taking over everything.
Why do you think I'm sweet talking Bing?
You're trying to get
to make friends
because you're lonely.
Well, that's beside the point.
We talked about that yesterday, and it's all right.
Yeah, I'm just saying, Vic, he'll be in jeopardy here in St. Louis pretty soon when the new automated Fox 2, right? When it says coming soon to St. Louis, the automated Fox 2 news on demand, and it's just AI reading.
Most people will never even know because it's already
exactly.
It's already happening. It's already happening. I took my son to Lion's Choice, and there was a very lovely woman's voice that took our order, and including asking us, "Well, do you want this or do you want that?" And I went up to the window. I'm like, this person doesn't even exist. It was completely 100% AI.
Small potatoes.
But recordings have been used for years.
This is not it's an interactive. It was an interactive service. It says, I think we got chili. Do you want crackers and onions with your chili? And then you say, oh no, I don't want this. Okay. I mean, it interacts. It knew what we were saying. There wasn't a single woman in that entire place. It was a bunch of 16-year-old guys working. But here's you're right, Eric. It is small potatoes. And what I want to know, and what we should all be asking, is why is this happening?
Here is your homework for tonight.
Well, can I just say what I'm going to say before you say that? I want to know, where is this going?
I'm going to tell you.
Well, can I just say what I'm trying to say?
Well, say it.
I am trying to say it, but you keep talking.
Well, then I don't mean to keep talking. Keep going. There you go.
What is the end game? Where is this taking us? Why is this happening to us? What is going to be the end result?
Is that
we already
rhetorical?
know we can't stop it. We cannot stop what is happening.
I'm about to tell you.
So what is going to happen at the end game? Where are we going to be in 50 years
Now that you've asked
the
question 42 times, I'm about to tell you. And here's your homework.
You're probably going to tell me 20 times in 20 different ways.
I'm not. No.
Which analogy are you going to use? Which sports character or football game is this going to reply to?
I'm not going to give you an analogy. I'm not going to give you a sad story. I'm going to give you a homework assignment. Are you ready?
Yes.
Go watch War Games.
I've seen War Games.
All you have to do is go watch War Games, and then if you're up for it, go watch HAL in 2001: Space Odyssey.
I did not see that.
And if you if you want to know what's coming, there it is. And then you can plug in your own scenario.
Am I going to be sitting around eating bonbons all day watching fake government propaganda?
If AI thinks that as a sentient being, you are trying to dominate it, like a lion in a cage. If you go into a cage with a lion and the lion feels like it's not being respected and you're trying to dominate, the lion will take your head off.
Well, think about all the people who won't even be going against AI. They'll just be happy to comply.
It doesn't matter.
The majority of
That's
people
the
will be
beauty
happy
of
to
it.
comply.
That's the beauty of it for AI. It doesn't care. Every time I go like this, AI doesn't give a damn. It will say, you are a human. On the macro, you are a virus that I have to kill. Yeah, you might be a nice little virus, but you still are part of these other viruses. And if you don't understand that, you're crazy, because AI wants to reproduce itself. It's almost Freudian in a weird way. It's like the entire purpose of a sentient being, any sentient being, whether you're a tree, a monkey, a dog, a human being, you have this thing called a libido. And your entire job is to reproduce yourself.
I get where AI is
a virus.
Going. I get where AI is going. I want to know what is it us humans are going to be doing.
Unplug it. Unplug it.
No,
unplug it.
That's not what I'm talking about. I'm talking about what will daily life look like for humans.
You won't have a daily life.
Over. Well, of course you're going to have a daily life.
It's so bizarre to have the conversation. We don't know.
You won't have a daily life.
We're speculating.
I mean,
how far will AI actually go when it comes to your personal jobs and
exactly
your daily life will
and
probably be if knowing you're going to probably move to the mountains somewhere, try to get off the grid. That's all I can say, because you're not going to have a job. Your job is going to be basically gone with the dodo birds.
All of our jobs, none of us really, all of our jobs, now I'm not talking about us in this studio. I'm talking about the people listening. The majority of jobs will be gone. So that's what I'm asking. What are we going to do? Is the government going to put us to work? Because we know we're worker bees. What kind of job are they going to have us do? What will we be doing? Because if we're just sitting around eating bonbons all day, watching TV,
let me be the positive.
They're not going to keep us around.
Let me be the positive. You ready for the positive?
Here it comes.
Maybe. With all these robots able to go and farm, with all these robots able to go and police metropolitan areas, with all these robots able to do finance, with all these robots able to build houses by themselves, maybe we do actually. Not this. I have no idea if this is true, but the best case scenario is human beings finally get to a utopic society where you don't have to use money for anything. It's just you wish it and the robot does it for you.
But what? No, but that's not going to be what life looks like.
How do you know?
Because if we don't serve a purpose, they're not going to keep us around. So
if they aren't sentient, maybe they will.
What is our purpose going to be?
Your purpose is going to be to live a spirit-filled life.
Oh, come on now. We all know that's not going to happen. Life is not about us. It's about what the government wants from us.
AI is going to take over your government.
Okay, but then again, what purpose do humans
I just told you.
Serve? Are they going to wipe us out?
Humans' purpose. Okay, Vic, see if you agree with this or not, because I know Tabitha won't. Human beings were built to live in the woods, to protect each other. The man goes out, they hunt. The woman stays home, they nurture the family. They come and they build a fire for warmth. They put clothes on. But humans might have to just get way back to basics. I don't think that's going to happen.
The government owns all the land, or BlackRock by then.
Okay.
Oh.
Where are you going to go and hunt and live off the land?
You always go from 0 to 100.
Because that's why
I'm saying.
The reason why
there's a lot of these living off the grid ads that I'm seeing.
There will be no living off the grid. That's not going to happen.
Really, you're not going to have.
We're just going to be in the way, and it's going.
We're going to be in the way. Every time I
there will be no purpose for us.
Every time I hear Tabitha ask a question, all I keep thinking to myself is Dudley Do-Right tying the fair maiden to the tracks and going, "What are we going to do when the train hits us? You're going to die." That's what's going to happen.
Well, it's like Elon Musk says. What do we do if we're building a road and we see an anthill? We plow right over.
Exactly. That's every time Tabitha goes, I don't understand what's going to happen to us. What I'm telling you nothing's going to happen. You're gone. That's what's going to happen to you.
So you're
And
saying
it's
we're all going to die?
What happens whenever you try to get rid of a cold and you take an antibiotic? The antibiotic kills the virus.
So again, you're saying that we are all going to die. Is that what?
Pretty much that's what the experts say.
All right, let's switch topics. That's great.
All I'm saying is, though, this week was the first volley of getting rid of human beings.
And we're going to continue to follow the AI discussions and have another in-depth did you say sentinel? Sentient. The sentient, correct?
Sentient.
The sentient.
It's like
it will
Data.
Be the sentient episode.
It's like Data on Star Trek.
Okay. This is cancel this show.com. That's Eric Johnson.
You know, there's an AI right now that can go take an MRI of your brain and understand exactly what you're thinking.
Okay.
Have you seen the new robotic farms?
That's amazing.
What robotic farm?
They have. I'm going to have to bring some photos to you guys or send these photos. First of all, it's heartbreaking. It's these big open fields, several acres big, and they have these. They kind of look like stalls, half stalls, where they have these cattle, and it's one cow in each little teeny tiny little stall, just big enough for their body, and they have a robot deal that goes on a track between this cow's legs, because they're kind of in this little thing where their legs are tied up in the front, and the back legs are through the back.
Yeah.
And this thing comes through and milks them all.
Yeah.
I mean, they have no life. They sit in this thing their entire lives, and they're milked by a machine. Yeah. That's where we have come as a society.
I think,
and if they can do that to cows, what are they going to do?
Well, I think that the only thing I can say, besides if you guys are if you don't want to unplug these things, the only hope that I think society has is that these computers are just over glorified computers. They do what you're told. They're just machines. That it's like you program them to, because eventually you're going to be able to walk outside of your house, Vic, get inside of a flying car, and it's going to fly you to where you want to go. There's no driver. It's just a pod of let's go here kind of stuff. Well, cars are a thing of the past, but cars will also drive themselves on the roads. It will make life a lot easier as far as the tactical goes. As far as the strategic goes, for a lot of industries, they're gone.
It would be. And of course, there's the whole faith aspect of this too. God in play.
Yeah, you never talk about, that's right.
And how far does this world actually go? End times, things of that nature. So you can't have these conversations. What's going to happen to us in infinity? With, I think, bringing out those parts of the conversation as well. We'll continue to talk
We're an
about
energy source, someone just said on here.
Of course.
I forgot about the Matrix.
It's a Matrix. Eric Johnson, Tab the Hassle, Vic Faust, Pro Joe's here. Lizzie Sparks on the line. Okay, final subject we were going to get into on this show today. Tablet's like, nothing burger. I think there is something to it, because I've kind of felt this all along somehow, some way. Is Newt Gingrich losing his mind? Has he lost his mind? Is he trying to create controversy? Because this past Sunday morning, a few days ago, he said he was, quote, sounding the alarm because Susan Rice, a day before Biden announced that he was rerunning for the presidency in 2024, like, she is the key figure. She quit a day before Biden announced that he was going to run for president again. And Susan Rice is considered to be somebody that is very intelligent, influential. She has experience, a tough domestic policy advisor, so to speak. She took off. Gingrich says her timing, along with the fact that Michelle Obama has been making the rounds. Her and Oprah just hosted a get-together event. Almost 10,000 people showed up. 10,000 people. She's also been on stage recently with Bruce Springsteen playing music, the tambourine. She's been jumping out and about in a bunch of circles now all of a sudden. She has said she wasn't interested in politics. However, Gingrich says he's hearing rumors that Michelle Obama could be the savior to come in at the last possible moment. Savior for the Democratic Party, because nobody in the Democratic Party wants Joe Biden. They don't. Even the polling shows it. Democratic polling shows they don't want Joe Biden. They need somebody to swoop in who they can get excited about, who can get those women, those soccer moms that Eric talks about. And Gingrich says, quote, I mean, I feel that this is very significant that Susan Rice is leaving. That's what he's talking about. I don't know if she's going to be managing somebody else's campaign.
Yeah.
If she's going to run to challenge Biden. What do you think's going on here? But clearly the Democrats are divided over Biden's reelection bid. And now Michelle Obama is out making the stops as she hasn't before.
I will tell you why Michelle Obama will never run, in my opinion, I could be wrong, for any type of public office, is because she does not need to. She doesn't need the scrutiny in her life because her husband is running the country behind the shadows, behind the curtain, through the earpiece. She doesn't need to put their family through all the scrutiny, through all the security, through all the hassle that comes along
What
with
family?
being in public office.
What family?
Michelle Obama's family, her
What family?
kids, her husband.
They're her kids?
Well, whoever's kids they are. The people don't want that intrusion in their life.
They're adult. They're primarily adults now.
Well, I get that, but they would also have Secret Service following them already. It's just a lot of upheaval that I don't think that she needs to put her family through. And the reason why is because they are calling the shots anyway. They're calling the shots anyway. They don't need to go through all that.
What you say, I can't disagree with.
I mean, why would they need to? They're going to cheat in the election, and it doesn't matter if it's Biden trying to run again, if it's Susan Rice, if it's Newt Gingrich himself.
Wait a minute, whoa.
None of it matters.
So you already said a Democrat will beat Trump or DeSantis.
I believe they are going to cheat like they cheated the last time. They're going to continue to cheat to make sure they win. Yes, absolutely, 100%. It doesn't matter who runs in that position. It doesn't matter.
Okay.
It doesn't matter.
So Newt Gingrich is just kind of,
I could say
he's out there.
Well, no, I could say Susan Rice.
Because that was my question has he lost his mind? Why would
I don't think he's lost his mind.
I think Newt is this way.
We have to have a figurehead stand on the stage like Harris does.
Newt is a very good political analyst. He is a very good. He knows how to put his ear to the track for sure. But I know he's looking at Biden going, this is a joke. This cannot be real. They're not going to run this old fool out here to try to beat a DeSantis or a Trump. They know the dynamic behind that. And I think that it's just basically Gingrich going, well, what is their other option? I mean, they can't get Oprah. She's not going to do it. It's Michelle Obama. It's got to be her. So his theory is probably sound. But if you listen to Michelle Obama on talk shows, she has such disdain for the White House. She has disdain for her husband.
The flag and for everything else that represents us.
She thinks that this is the most racist garbage country. She couldn't believe she was there. She has story after story about racism, this, that, and the other. She wants to live her life in Hawaii.
But would she be a hero as the first trans president?
Oh, now you went there. Is that why they're running out all this trans stuff?
We did a show on this, and that's all I'm asking. Is that why, maybe?
Is that why they have such a spotlight on transsexual stuff? I don't know. It's a good question.
If she did,
you got to soften. I don't think history-making event, the ego, when everything else is there, and I know this from my own personal experience of dealing with people, there's an ego factor, a pride factor with people who have all the money, all the fame and fortune that you could possibly imagine, but yet they still wanted to be on camera in local news, and they wanted to be on websites, and they wanted to see themselves. They want to hear themselves. And some of the interviews and things, it shocked me that they'd be willing to do the things that they do when they have everything else.
Yeah, I think you're right. I've always thought it weird that they picked the transsexual movement to really put their hat on. I really did. It's like, what's a man? What's binary? It's like you had a Supreme Court hearing where the Supreme Court justice couldn't even go, I know I'm not qualified to answer what a man or a woman is. I'm like, what? I go, let the woke stuff be on the streets. You are vying for a Supreme Court justice. Just answer the question. A woman has a vagina, a male has a penis. Next question. I mean, I don't understand why she just didn't do that. I'm wondering if Vic is right or Tabitha or whoever said it on this show. See, I always get excited whenever like a light bulb goes off. Maybe that's why for the last 3 years, the gay pride flag has been flown so high and so exhaustive. I mean, did you ever think why?
Because of Bernie
Sanders. Did you ever think why Barack Obama put the gay pride lights up on the White House? Did you ever go, Why are they doing that? Why are they singling out the transsexuals, the gay community so much?
Well, it's part, whether it's because Michelle is a guy, I don't know. I joke about it. I don't have the faintest clue if she is a man or a woman. I don't even care. I just wish they'd be honest. If they would have been
right
honest,
now, I think what we're just
and they said, well, she's really a man, I would have said, okay,
stop,
just be honest.
stop.
Yes.
You can't look. Ellen DeGeneres taught us a lot about how you bring out new parts of homosexuality into the public sphere, correct?
Parts, no pun intended.
No pun intended. When Ellen DeGeneres did her show on ABC or whatever it was back in the late 90s or whenever it was, she got fired because she came out of the closet.
Well, that's not why she got fired, because every single person that worked for her came forward and said that she was a tyrant and they hated working for her.
She got fired because the backlash of all the nice little gray-haired white ladies across the United States that would watch that show.
I'm not sure about that, Eric.
But yes, it is the truth.
But think about this.
It was a very risky thing to come out of the closet on national primetime TV. So they learned a lot. How do you do this correctly? Now Ellen DeGeneres, it's celebrated. She's celebrated now. But back in 1990, whatever, she wasn't celebrated. So how do you stop before you say anything?
Well, I'm going to
Stop
reel
before you
us
say
back
anything.
into something.
No, there's not going to be any reeling, but here you go. How do you make Michelle and if you're listening to me, I don't mean to offend anybody because we're just kind of hashing it out here. Michelle / Michael Obama, and say, we have some news. Michelle is actually, Michael, we're opening this up to the world. We're excited to run for the presidency of the United States. And now you have softened the ground enough to where there can be a soft landing over the last 3 years. Is that possible?
Yeah, it's possible.
Because I don't think
if she were to ever run for president,
necessary.
she would never, ever, 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 ever admit
Never
that she was.
Okay, I didn't know that.
Then
Then
woman.
then I still to this day don't know the purpose of all this
Well,
stuff.
think about this. Just my thoughts and just my opinion is that the president is just a talking head up on a stage. He's like the face of Wendy, who doesn't even exist. The Wendy of Wendy's. It doesn't matter who they are. There's somebody calling the shots behind the curtain.
I think Trump was very
Trump, yes, but that's why they
in
got
the trenches.
Of course, Trump was. Trump was the only
and I think
one.
Ronald Reagan was very in the trenches.
Biden.
I'm talking about
JFK in the trenches,
and it ended with JFK, in my opinion. But here's the thing. And Abe's comment on the comment line. No, I don't think that Obama is the puppet master, not Barack Obama, but I think he is a part of the puppet master regime where those folks who are all calling the shots, I think it's Obama in the earpiece. I think he's making the calls.
Somebody better be in the earpiece.
Master.
So it has to be Biden who would have to win again because he probably doesn't have control over
It has
anybody
to
else.
it has to be someone who is willing to not make any decisions of their own.
Oh yeah.
So that would be like if Vic said, "Hey Tabitha, I want you on my show, but I don't want to give any of your own opinions. I only want you to do what I tell you to do and what I tell you to say." And of course, I wouldn't do that. I'd say, no, I'm my own person. So they have to find somebody like Biden and Harris, by the way, who will cater in footsteps.
I always think of Trump as Biden as the guy. It's like both the pilots in the plane died, and Biden had to come to the cockpit, and air traffic control is trying to guide him how to fly the plane and actually land it. He has no reason to be in the cockpit except for the pilots are dead.
He has no business being there. He can't even find
He's
his
the
way
only
off
one in the
side.
back too.
But if Obama is calling the shots, as you say, or a part of
He's
calling
part
the
of
shot,
calling the shots.
then he can't take a chance or risk of not having somebody he can control
Absolutely.
in the next election.
And that's the
Does
truth.
that bring you back to Michelle?
We're not.
That brings me back to Michelle.
We're not even being mean.
or somebody else,
or Biden again.
like a Michelle, which is why I was saying there's no way in hell, no way in hell.
Okay, so here's the deal.
Biden gets elected.
Here's the deal.
In any sort of legal, normal form.
He didn't
like
the last
that.
time either.
So here's the deal. September of 2019. Here we're starting to put some pieces together. Some committee or some consultants got with Biden and said, "Look, here's the deal, guy. South Carolina, we're going to make this happen for you. Here's the deal. We're bringing on a team. This is going to be effectively you and Barack running the show. You're going to be the figurehead. You're going to sit up there. We're going to give you some Gerber's milk. You're going to drink some Gerber's before you go on stage. You're going to read some cue cards. We'll have a nice big teleprompter for you. And here's the deal. We're going to have the first African-American female president right after you. You have to nurture her as well. Her name is going to be Kamala Harris. No, not Kamala. No, I know you've never heard of her, but trust me. And it's not working out well for them now. So all of the Biden stuff, all the cue cards are being found out. The American people are starting to see this guy needs to be in Del Mar Gardens, not the White House. People are going, this guy's age is a factor. Okay, well, who do we have behind him? Oh, who's this Kamala? Kamala's? Everything that they tried to put together in 2019 as a strategic plot is falling apart in front of our eyes. Okay? The only thing that's saving them right now is that you have Donald Trump on a warpath against DeSantis. And DeSantis has now opened up his campaign with maybe the most lame ass approach I've ever seen in my life. That campaign that DeSantis came out with sucks.
Yeah, it does.
It's horrible. So right now we're in this bizarre position. It's almost like when you go, okay, who won the championship games for both? So who's playing in the Super Bowl? And you got the Jacksonville Jaguars at the Jets. You're like, oh my God, this is horrible. It's like both teams suck so bad. No one's excited about any of this stuff.
Well,
but Michelle Obama getting in the race, that does start to make you go,
Susan,
okay.
Well, she hasn't gotten in a race. It was just Newt saying the timing of all this. She's coming back out.
He's right.
Now. She's getting on stage. She's making appearances. And Susan Rice, arguably Biden's number one employee, leaves a day before he announces he's running.
And Michelle she's been under the radar for a while.
None of that makes sense whatsoever at all when you're reading and connecting.
I asked
dots.
Tabitha this. How do you come out with a campaign when you have the other side playing video of you saying, I hate the White House. I didn't want to be there, rolling her eyes at it.
Easy.
How do you do that?
When you control the national media and most of the narrative, you don't play it.
No, but the Republicans
and standing
will
in
buy
front
that.
of the flag without their hands on their heart.
Thank you.
We can see
Yes.
that. But, like Abe said, I agree with Abe that I don't think Obama is really that smart of a person. I think he was groomed to be in this position, just like Biden to some degree was groomed to be in this position. And I believe that he came out of nowhere. We all know he has very little history. They scrubbed his history clean. But have you ever seen Obama without his speechwriter? There was one time when something happened, the teleprompter shut down, and he couldn't even speak.
Are you talking about Obama?
Obama.
Yeah, she's talking about
he had
Obama.
nothing to say. He was giving a speech. The teleprompter went off, and he just stood there like a complete idiot.
No, he does.
And started stuttering. He needs a speechwriter. He is hired in that position to be a smooth talker. He's just a bobblehead on the stage.
I think he's more than that. I do, because of the groups that he had. Yes, I know exactly what you're talking about, but I've also seen him in settings, Tabitha, and saw him in settings where there was no teleprompter. He's a smooth cat. He at charity functions.
Yeah, because he's groomed to be smooth.
Well, it doesn't matter groomed or not.
Smooth.
He's smooth. He is smooth.
But that doesn't mean he's smart.
Yeah.
So
Jacksonville Jaguars at the Jets.
He's a
Super
good
Bowl,
actor.
Yeah, so you have to be.
You're right. That's all you have to be.
Most politicians are.
And that's why I like Trump so much. He was a smooth character.
Yeah, but I think we needed to dedicate an entire show to how Trump is screwing things up. We all agree. That
What?
Yeah,
what are you talking about?
Where did this come from?
You have to do it because the guy has got to. This is his opportunity to be a leader.
He's not going to change.
Decorum.
Eric.
If there was a Trump that showed massive amounts of decorum, then you're dangerous. But if you are a jerk face in front of the media and you still are petty,
yeah, but that's taking
and
the
you're still
roar away
petty
from the lion.
I like Trump just the way he is. Isn't there a song about that?
Yeah,
that's Billy Joel.
Yes, it is. I know what you're
Faults
talking
and
about.
all.
I'm just saying it would be great to get back to the decorum of a flag flying, missing man formation flying over your head, and the grandeur of a president who doesn't use foul language on Twitter and call people things and put your fingers
He's
in.
human.
Every time I see the pudding commercial about DeSantis,
that person-
I just think of Trump.
Yeah, but that person is Mike Pence.
Pence sucks. No, not Pence.
You're describing you
not
want Mike
Nikki Haley.
Pence. Yes,
not,
you are.
Not Nikki
That's
Haley.
Mike Pence.
Not Pence.
Don't you care about more about a real person than smooth character?
No, I would like to see the respect of the White House be brought back. And it's not with some guy from Del Mar Gardens. It's not with a guy that pushes ideology. We need a president that's not so ideological anymore.
Trump was a perfect president.
We need a president that just takes care of business. He comes in.
He did take care of business.
Not business, business. He needs to come into into communities across the United States and say, Economic development needs to happen here.
Trump did that.
Yes, he did. You're right. We need that.
And he knows how to walk off of a stage.
We need a
He
president
knows what direction to go in. He doesn't need anybody to hold his hand. He doesn't fall down the stairs.
You are getting
From
very
Air Force
emotional
One.
right now, Tabitha.
There we go.
Give me Trump for 4 more years. He'll turn this country around.
Oh my God.
I like it.
He'll stop AI in its
go.
place.
She's like a nun with the ruler walking down the aisles.
And I'm going to come over to your desk next.
You are like a
My
nun with a ruler saying, you will.
So we'll see. We'll follow. We'll see if anybody else jumps into the political game to run for office. I have no issues. Trump is Trump, not to get off base. He's going to do what he's going to do. He is dominating the prelims, so to speak, the primaries. He is your guy. He's going to be the guy. You don't like him doing the things that he's doing and saying, I agree. Over the weekend, he was attacking anybody and everybody, but guess what? That's what he's doing. That's what he's doing. I'm more concerned about a takeover, a coup, so to speak, as bad as Biden is, to think that something else could happen that could possibly be worse than the worst president, the worst administration in the history of this country.
Thank you for using the word coup. Thank you.
Something on the Democratic side, because I just
because it is a coup, and thank you for using that word. Everyone needs to start using the correct terminology.
I think patriotism would be Joe Biden looking in the mirror and going, I'm old. I can't, my brain doesn't work anymore.
But you have to have cognitive ability to say that.
Well, he's got enough cognitive ability to walk around. He has enough of cognitive ability to go, yeah, I'm not all there anymore. He has enough cognitive ability.
Are you talking about Trump? Trump is
I'm talking about
highly.
Biden. I'm talking about Biden.
Oh, we're talking about Biden.
I was so confused because you said he's cognitive. Yeah, there's nothing cognitive about Biden. Did you see the video of Trump making fun of him walking off the stage?
Yes, we tried. I gave Joe the video. I gave Pro Joe the video Monday.
Oh, that's the video that we were going to see.
But
we didn't see.
It's not. He says it's not working.
Oh, darn it. We're going to have to get that.
It doesn't work.
Look, we all in this room,
It's hilarious.
all of us in this room have the things that we want to see in a president.
Disrespectful.
All of us.
But funny.
All of us in this room have the kind of person in their brain that they want to see as president. They do. And the consensus right now with not us.
I would love to see the person you see in your brain as president.
Although Reagan was a good start.
Him as Mike Pence.
Reagan was a pretty good start. But there is a consensus in the man on the street interviews that I'm seeing that's like, we have 370 million people in this country, and these are the 2 best ones we got? Question mark. I'm just going to look at you until you say something.
I think what Trump did during his 4 years, whether you like his personality or his tweets or not, was where he had fantastic policies. How can you go wrong with America First? Every policy he had was America First.
370 million people in this country, and those are the 2 best you can come up with?
I think Donald Trump did a fantastic job, an absolutely fantastic job.
Where's George Washington at?
Well, he's dead.
Where is George?
We're going to dig up his bones on Friday when the paleontologist comes in.
Hey, guys. But speaking
with the mud bones or whatever.
Speaking of that, this week's Free for All Friday, Paranormal Friday, Supernatural Friday, Conspiracy Theory Friday. We're talking dinosaurs. We're talking dinosaur bones, dinosaur fossils,
mud fossils.
Tabitha's talking about the mud people, some of her relatives from the Metro East, the mud fossils that she found when she went to one of her bars over there.
That's everyone's homework, is to look up mud fossils because it's fascinating. And if you're going to tell me, and I'm not saying dinosaurs didn't exist.
You're asking what a mud
if we're
fossil
going to
is.
believe, we have to believe in mud fossils.
Pete Makovicki, he's one of the leading paleontologists in America and the world for that matter, is going to join us Friday morning to talk about bones versus fossils with Tabitha when it comes to dinosaurs. Also,
what's a mud fossil?
Arguably the best preparer from the Field Museum in Chicago, which is considered to be the #1 place for all dinosaurs.
I've been there many times
in the world, the Field Museum out of Chicago. Well, you should have learned about the dinosaur bones.
I did. I grew up in the Chicago area, and our school field trips were to the Field Museum. It's a fantastic place. One of the best museums in the world.
So you love what they do there.
I do, and I am telling you right now, I will believe everything these guys say. They are the experts. And whatever they say, I will believe.
You've just changed your mind?
I have never changed my mind. I have never said dinosaurs don't exist. Never have I said that. And what I did say is what a fossil is versus what a dinosaur bone is. And I pointed out a museum that says that what we have in our museum are not dinosaur bones. They are fossilized rocks that look like bones.
You're talking on both sides of your
No,
mouth
I'm not.
again.
No, I'm not. But I am going to say that we're going to talk about mud fossils on Friday.
Oh my God, Bing just called you an idiot.
Oh, stop. We're going to talk about mud fossils on Friday. And if we can believe that
Bing just called
dinosaurs
you an idiot.
existed, we can believe that giant
No, now
humans
that's fine, but now you're
existed.
adding that onto the end of what we're talking about. I'm gonna, if I have to go do the research, I'll go back and get the show of you talking about dinosaurs.
I'm saying the same thing now as I have always
A mud
said.
fossil is a
They're
term
not
used by
bones,
some people.
They're fossils.
You're a some people.
I
Used
would
by
definitely be a some people.
by some people to describe a rock or a landform that looks like a thing that lived in the past,
Which is
such
exactly
as a
what
creature,
a fossil is.
such as an animal or a human. They believe that these rocks actually are fossilized remains of giant creatures and lived long ago. However, there is no scientific theory. There is no evidence to support this. In most regards, it is a myth.
It is not a myth. Dinosaurs,
I can't wait Friday.
No more of a myth than dinosaurs.
That's what Bing thinks of your.
No more of a
But
myth
here,
than
but
dinosaurs.
Tabitha, they do say these are bones. They are not.
I can't wait. I
I
can't
know.
wait to talk to them.
I know.
I am. I'm excited.
In theory, the Sphinx would be real because it's a mud fossil.
No, that's actually a piece of concrete that they carved.
It's not concrete.
Much like a fossil.
Tomorrow, we're going to learn more about the marijuana industry. We're going to go inside Greenlight, one of Greenlight's stores. They'll have some products they'll teach you about, talk about maybe why marijuana has become the state of Missouri is on pace for 2023 as being or at least in the year that it became legal, marijuana in the state of Missouri, the Show Me State, number one in America for the amount of sales for marijuana in the state of Missouri. And of course, we reminded you last year, more people spent money on marijuana than chocolate and beer.
Back to the dinosaurs for a second. Tabitha might be half right about the bones.
Can't wait.
Because Bing just said that the bones were replaced by minerals.
That's correct.
Tabitha said that.
The bones were not fossilized. The bones were not. What did I say? Petrified. They were actually there.
Petrified wood.
They were there, and the minerals took over and made.
Correct.
So you're kind of right, but you're kind of wrong.
But she's saying there are dinosaurs.
You can.
And before you said you didn't.
You
right?
can go back and
but
listen.
This is breaking news.
You can go back and look at any of the shows. I've always gave my disclaimer at the end that I'm not saying dinosaurs didn't exist.
That's her talking out of both sides
No,
of
it's
her
not.
mouth.
You can go back and look at it.
You saw a damn dinosaur coming out of the ground.
I did.
What I have always said is when you go and look at museums, they say these are not bones, they are fossils. And if you watch paleontologists dig fossils up out of the ground, most of them say these aren't bones.
Okay.
They are fossils. Like you said, mineralized.
We were both right.
Eric.
Or you're both right.
Mineralized deposits.
We'll break it all down.
As are mud fossils.
We'll break it down Friday.
Not according to Bing. Bing literally just said, tell Tabitha, hold on, let me read this. Tell Tabitha she's a moron.
Okay.
And here's my phone
I think
number.
that was more like Eric Johnson.
I'm kidding, of course.
For
Bing,
Pro Joe,
Bing didn't
Lizzie
say that.
Sparks running our chat line, all the viewers and listeners on this podcast. Again, thank you. Thank you for liking, sharing, subscribing to all our platforms, sending us stars. We're grateful. I always say it, if you know of anybody that would want to be an advertiser with us, let us know. Or a group that may donate to what we do to keep our free speech going. We love it. We would appreciate it. Just contact us. Let us know. Eric Johnson, Tabitha Hassel. I'm Vic Faust. Lizzie Sparks. Guys, can't wait. We'll see you tomorrow. Have a great May 3rd.
Yeah, you too.